1.
I don't know why I'm counting down.
Just to let me know that we are live.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the weekly narrative.
Welcome.
Just like how I tricked you out right there. I tried to act like I didn't know what camera it was, but I knew.
Camera 1.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the weekly narrative. Your source for what? Truth,
reason, maybe
that
a little
good
bit of fun every once in a while. And not to mention, we're not bad to look at.
No, source for truth. That is like the most cliched
really
garbage ever.
Kinda.
I would never call myself that.
Pretty sure CNN says that they say the truth a lot, but we know that they get that
Number
wrong.
one trusted source.
Yeah, number 1 trusted news source.
Oh, God.
And you're just like, for who though?
I see Steve and Rosie.
What's up, Steve? What's
Welcome
up,
to the
Rosie?
chat, guys. Come
Fill
on in.
the arena. Get the claps going.
Trickle in.
Trickle in. We got the millions
Go to
of
camera
people.
2.
Go to camera 2. What's up? Welcome. We
Got
are
some
here.
Interesting news articles for you guys tonight.
We're
gonna go over.
We're gonna read them and then get my reaction, and both of our reactions, and maybe your guys' reaction too.
So fill in, grab a drink like us. I've got vodka.
I've got
Get your drink of choice.
a little Truly here going. It's
Camera 3.
Camera 3.
Camera 3. What's up, camera 3?
Camera 3.
Life Road Toll. What up, buddy? Welcome in.
Welcome.
Welcome everybody to the weekly narrative.
Life roll toll. Love it. Welcome. Howdy. I say howdy too every once in a while.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
People think I'm weird for saying howdy, but I don't think so. I think I'm pretty cool. Shut up. You.
I'm gonna set up the add the window here so the viewers can follow along.
Hold on, y'all. This is multi-million-dollar production here.
Bam.
Well, bam.
No rush. We're here all night.
Yeah, let's do this. All right.
You know what I was watching? You watch Twitch streamers, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Occasionally, I watch them occasionally. The ones that do the talk and the hangout stuff, they'll just sit there.
Yeah, they don't even
for
play video
hours
games.
and hours and hours, and they'll have 80% dead air.
Yeah, they're just sitting there doing nothing, just fiddling with some stuff. My cousin, she streams on Twitch every once in a while, and there are streams where she'll like not even play video games, but she'll just like sit there and like do crochet and talk about stuff. I'm just like, wait, what? People are in your stream and watching you do crochet or whatever she chooses.
It's a very strange phenomenon that
Right?
people just in millions of people will just watch other people sit in their own rooms and do stuff.
Right? It's crazy what people are entertained by these days.
All right, calm down, Arian. All right,
Right?
relax.
Someone's got a little crush on me. Sorry, Jeremy. You got some competition.
Hold on, I am struggling.
Oh, no. Sorry, folks. We're here. Don't worry. We're here. We're not
The seats are still filling in.
The seats are still
Come
filling
on in, grab a seat.
Like I said,
We're
if
getting
you're
started here in a
just getting
second.
started, join in on the clapping in the back.
Bye bye. Right there. Maybe we should do our picture small in the big picture.
Let's do it. Well, we're gonna read this off.
Make that a little bit bigger there. You can tell
This is multi-million-dollar production
the
here.
production level is ridiculous.
Ridiculously good and entertaining, and not bad
Yeah,
to
but
look at.
who else does it on the fly aside from
The
Bill?
big
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly, just all on the fly.
Yep.
All on the fly, just comes.
We'll do it
on the way.
live.
We're gonna do it live. This is great. How are you?
Bam. There we go.
Okay.
Shazam.
There we go. There's
Look
me.
at that.
There's me. I see me in the screen. Yay. Hello. Welcome.
Steve
Hello.
is mad at Georgia.
Wonder.
Yeah, I know. Dave is upset that we're making fun of people who are watching people stream as the viewers themselves watch us sit here and talk and stream. I'm not talking about you guys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all those other guys.
Everybody else. You
No, I
guys
do
are
it too.
wonderful
I do
and
it too.
beautiful. You guys are beautiful. Like we love you guys here.
The point that I was trying to make with that comment is that this has got to be more like a Twitch stream. It's just got to be like we're here just hanging out.
It's true.
We don't have
On the
we don't have a
fly.
script.
Yeah.
We're just chilling.
We don't have a teleprompter telling us
We just
what we want to say.
bounce off the audience.
Yeah, we're gonna bounce off you guys. This is what real production is.
See, this is why we do it, because Arian Rotha right there is segueing us into the article himself. So
Oh.
thank you. He says, I thought the WHO said lockdowns don't work. It's confusing to idiots like me.
Life Road Toll says audio is low on both mics, but both mics are equally leveled. Okay. Everybody else, can you guys let us know how our mics sound, so that way we can figure out
Get a larger sample size.
Get a larger sample size. Let us know how we sound. Let us know how we look. All that good stuff. You know, the good shebang. You know, we always take criticism, but please just let us know how we sound, because we always want to sound good for y'all.
My mic's already maxed out, so
Yeah.
let me scroll down a little bit just to make sure we're good here. I can increase mine. Bam! All right, that's as good as we gonna get. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see on your screen is CNBC. Will Fuller from CNBC says Biden COVID advisor says U.S. lockdown of 4 to 6 weeks could control pandemic and revive economy.
Oh, okay.
So when we were talking about Biden at the debates and stuff, we were kind of insinuating that if he got in, he's not saying it out loud, but he does want to lock everything down.
Yeah, he wants to keep everything locked down.
Yeah.
And he kind of just blatantly said it, I guess.
Shutting down businesses and paying people for lost wages for 4 to 6 weeks could help keep the coronavirus pandemic in check and get the economy on track until a vaccine is approved and distributed, said Dr. Michael Osterholm. So the premise is that we're going to have a vaccine in that time period.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is so funny. It's not like we haven't been locked down for 9 months.
Well, this is going to be a total lockdown.
Oh, the whole country.
A national lockdown.
Oh, okay.
And the government's going to cut checks for 4 to 6 weeks worth of pay.
Oh, okay.
So actually, you pay, or I pay, because I don't know how much taxes you pay right now. You're unemployed, but
yeah, I was gonna say
I
not
pay
paying
taxes.
I was gonna say you're gonna pay me to stay home. You're gonna pay me.
And
to
so
not
are
have
all
a
you
job.
guys.
Yeah, so
you guys get to pay.
you're gonna pay me to not do anything.
You guys pay the unemployed people 4 to 6 weeks.
Me, meaning me.
How does that make you feel, huh?
Right? People like me, degenerates and losers like me. How does that make you feel? Total just can't do it.
So who is this Osterholm guy? He serves as the director of the Center of Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. Minnesota, interesting. Okay. Said earlier this week that the country is headed towards COVID hell. Cases are rising. More people are growing tired of wearing masks and social distancing, suffering from so-called pandemic fatigue.
Oh, okay.
He said on Wednesday.
Let's put a label on it. It's true.
Pandemic fatigue, as if we already didn't have enough magical fake diseases and illnesses that we were giving ourselves, you know, like mental illnesses. People are always, you know, labeling themselves as depressed and anxious and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well,
now we've got another one. We've got pandemic fatigue. So
it's a badge of honor.
Yeah,
when you label yourself as depressed.
You have yet
anxious.
another thing that you can label on yourself.
It's
now.
another reason to just be a total. Don't want to say loser, because that's just, I guess, too mean for some people. But it's just another another badge of honor to wear.
I'll say it. It's for losers.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you can say it because you're the man, so you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But,
I have a little less of the empathy.
yeah, you have that little thing that makes you not want to say it like I do have, you'll say yours whatever.
Yep.
Makes them, yeah.
Rod Buster, welcome to the chat. He says, please discuss the ideas of the accountability lists. That's a great idea, and we will talk about that.
Okay.
Steve with the $5 super chat.
$5 super chat. Rest in peace, Gary Coleman. Better late than never.
Is that a troll?
I don't know if that's real or if that's fake, but if it's real, then that's sad. Poor Gary Coleman.
Google it on your phone real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I can't tell if this is one of those Rip Joe Rogan things, because it could very well be. Steve is known to be a little bit devious.
Let me look it up real quick. I'm not gonna.
Wait, I was thinking of Ronnie Coleman in my head. So yeah, Gary Coleman.
No. Gary Coleman. That's. Oh, he died in 2010. It says. What the fuck?
Oh
right?
yes.
That's
Thank
hilarious.
you, Steve, for the $5 super chat.
We appreciate the $5 super chat.
Rest in peace, Gary.
For Gary Coleman, yeah. You know. This is why we have this live stream going, because this is great. This is good stuff, man.
I think I got pandemic fatigue. I don't know.
I've got pandemic fatigue for sure.
I'm feeling a little under the weather.
Well, I just am tired of all this crap.
Not just pandemic fatigue, colder weather as well. Colder weather, and there's all what comes with cold weather is that like seasonal depression stuff.
It's true.
Everyone's like, oh, it's winter. I'm depressed for 5 months straight. I don't want to do anything. That kind of stuff. Uh-oh. All right, I'm gonna get the. We got a battery low error here, as you may or may not have heard.
Yeah, let's get this battery plugged in so that way we can not die on you guys, because we love you. We want to keep you guys entertained. Want to keep you guys here with us.
Should be already plugged in.
Maybe your power strip isn't working. It's
Bam.
There we go.
See that?
We up and running. We good to go. Let's do this, y'all.
You guys get seasonal depression? I don't get seasonal depression.
I just have depression all the time. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding. Just kidding, you guys.
Arian says I'm a straight white male and not allowed to say anything. Yeah, that's why she's here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Funnel the opinions through her.
I'll say certain things that straight white males aren't allowed to say, and then the straight white males will say certain things that I'm not allowed to say, or I don't want to say because it's too mean. And if it comes from a woman, then it's definitely like too fucking mean. Even though it's like when it comes from a man, it's the same thing. I don't know. People are
try to make sense of that.
Right.
Dirk Skookum brings up another idea we should talk about. The PSYOP, the MSM PSYOP right now, the propaganda war going on regarding the election. So we'll talk about that as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I already knew it was a PSYOP, but...
Put the male into the female piece. Oh, the battery. You're talking about the battery. Yes. Yeah. I made the insertion. Now we have power.
Yeah, now we got this. M.A., welcome, M.A. Hi. Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, M.A. Hey.
We could pay for a package right now to cover all of the wages. Lost wages for individual workers, for losses to small companies, to medium-sized companies, or city, state, county governments. We could do all of that, he says. If we did that, then we could lock down for 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to give you money, and then we're going to shut everything down. So...
Yeah, because that makes total sense. It's not like a lot of the bigger states have been locking down for months. California been locked down since March. We've opened back up a little bit here and there, and then when it rises again, what do? Then they're like, now we're purple, so we got to shut everything down.
We just went back down into our purple tier in Sacramento County.
He was telling me before the stream, he's like, the gym's closed again. I was like, oh, damn. That means everything else is going to start closing.
We're doing this up and down thing. Now, this guy says it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, but, it's not going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
It's been months. I'm tired of this. Let everything get back open. I'm sorry.
Osterholm was appointed to Biden's 12-member COVID advisory board. Did you see that? One of the first things he did after the media called the election was, I'm going to make an advisory board for COVID response team.
It's not like Trump doesn't have a COVID task force or anything like that.
No, this is an entirely new concept. We've never had a task force.
Yeah.
We've never wanted to make a vaccine.
Yeah, there was there's no vaccine being made. It's not almost done with like a 90% effective rate. None of that. It's been all, Trump doesn't give a crap. Trump doesn't care about sick people. Even though Trump got the Rona, they don't care about that. It's all about just Trump hates people and doesn't give a crap.
Yeah. Do these people understand basic economics? Exactly. I don't know about you, but if any of you guys live in the populated areas, you're like me and you've seen countless businesses shut down.
Oh yeah.
And even still, when you walk around, everything's still boarded up because of the fascist Nazi hordes that were gonna ravage the cities.
Right.
After the election, of course. I need a update count on that. By the way, number of cities have been burned down by fascist Nazi hordes.
Right. But I don't see many. I haven't seen any MAGA protests. People in red hats is driving or walking down streets and blocking cities off or anything like that. I haven't seen that.
They have this weird hallucination that if they keep locking everything down, there's going to be something to come back to. There's going to be nothing to come back to after all this is done. And movie theaters are shutting down. Theater chains are shutting down. Gyms are shutting down. 24-Hour Fitness in California sold like half their gyms or something like that, or a grip of gyms.
Well, why wouldn't they? It doesn't make sense if they can't stay open for more than
there's only so much safety net.
Yeah, with all of they're trying to be respectful of the rules and the regulations that the state is implementing on them, but at this point they can't stay open. So most of them. Like the one over here right around the corner from you, it can't stay open because they can't have a gym outside.
Yeah, even at red tier, which is like the second from the highest, they have to have limited capacity. So people are going to cancel their gyms. The longer you go on, people are going to buy more stuff at home. That stuff's going to all be gone.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We've been locked down for months and the cases haven't gotten better or worse, in my opinion. To lock down for another whole month after Biden gets inaugurated, if he gets inaugurated, big if. Like it doesn't make sense. I just love this. Like,
Let the virus rip through.
I was gonna say keep reading because this is so great. I love this. This is just giving me a good laugh.
This is what was wrong with the march. This is what they say was wrong with the march
Okay,
back in.
lay it down for me, Jeremy. Lay it down.
From March. Problem with the March to May lockdown was it was not uniformly stringent across the country. For example, Minnesota deemed 78% of its workers essential. To be effective, the lockdown has to be as comprehensive and strict as possible.
Oh, okay.
Osterholm said that such a lockdown would help the country bring the virus under control like they did New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, okay.
Because people always keep using New Zealand as an example.
And then New Zealand doesn't nearly have the same amount of population as the United States of America. And they're on an island.
You remember when Biden said dark winter?
Yeah.
On the current trajectory, Osterholm said the U.S. is headed for dark days before a vaccine becomes available.
Oh, okay. Doom and gloom. There we go.
He says the healthcare systems across the country are already overwhelmed in places like El Paso, Texas, where local officials have already closed businesses and federal government is sending resources to handle surge in deaths.
Right.
But if you look at have you seen the death numbers overall?
Yeah, no.
So it's basically flat.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been pretty.
The cases fluctuate up and down,
Mm-hmm.
but the deaths are pretty much flat.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it must mean that our treatment abilities are matching, are increasing at the same rate that the virus is spreading.
Mm-hmm.
Or who knows what it means, but I just think that's a peculiar statistic.
I know.
The deaths are stagnant, but the cases are going up.
Well, of course, the cases are going up because all the people that follow the lockdown rules and everything for months are now getting out of their houses and going and doing things, and they're getting sick, and then they're finally going to the hospital getting tested for COVID, and they're finally testing positive. So when they did the lockdown thing, it just put off the inevitable of like everybody getting this and all of us kind of getting
herd immunity.
The herd immunity.
The herd immunity strategy.
Yeah, that's my whole aspect of it. When H1N1 and the swine flu, like the bird flu and all of these flus like came over from China and all of these other countries, we didn't lock stuff down. We let everybody get it. Like just get it, and then you don't have to worry about people dying as much. Or
well, you know what's
or if
funny?
people are gonna die no matter what, just let them get it.
What's funny is this Osterholm guy, I want to ask a team of advisors when we've ever had a successful coronavirus vaccine, because I don't think there has been.
No, there's
been
been
no
one.
successful coronavirus vaccines,
'Cause
and they want this. They're banking that this 4 to 6 week shutdown is going to be long enough for the first one ever in history to come out and be successful on a nationwide scale.
Yeah.
What is he smoking?
Right? What are you smoking? Do you
He's
know
got
how
some good stuff.
It takes them a long time to come up with a vaccine for a basic flu. What makes you think that coronavirus is going to be like just be chugged out in all this time? I mean, I know Trump believes he's incentivized, like Pfizer and all of these companies to
Probably warp speed.
Yeah, to come out with a vaccine in record time, which is cool, but I'm not going to take that shit. I'm sorry. I just am not. I don't trust it.
I'd rather just get it, to be honest.
You just wanted to get it?
Well, I think I've already got it, but I'd rather just get it.
Oh, you'd rather just get the virus, but
Yeah.
not the shot?
Yeah, 99%, 99.9%.
I'd rather get it
survival
too.
rate. Who
Well,
cares?
plus we're both young and
You have a higher chance of dying just driving to work.
exactly. I have a higher chance
don't
of
care.
driving just walking down the streets here in Sacramento.
I'll get it. I won't go anywhere while I have it, so I won't spread it. So you can't make the argument that, oh, if you got it, you can still spread it. I wouldn't spread it intentionally, but then I'd just get it and it'd be done.
I know people that have gotten coronavirus, and I've been around them, and I still haven't gotten it yet. At least I don't think so.
You probably have.
I probably have, but I'm
You're
not gonna.
just so minor, you didn't even notice it.
Yeah, because I'm a healthy human being with a decent immune system, and I don't worry about getting viruses and dying from viruses.
Well, Arian brings up a good point. He says the flu fluctuates yearly, so COVID's going to mutate as well. So you come out with a vaccine, and it works for this variant, but it doesn't work for whatever the next one is, which could come out at any time. You don't know.
Yeah, then the virus like the virus mutates and then the vaccine doesn't work, and then we have like we have to wait for another coronavirus vaccine.
This is the same principle as when, and this is always controversial when I say this for some reason.
Go ahead, say it.
It's the same principle as when the parents want their kids to wear helmets when they ride the bikes. They want it to be as safe as possible. They want accept. They don't want any risk. They want it to be perfectly set in stone that nothing's bad's gonna happen, and that they have all the protections in place.
Okay,
and the risk is minimized.
Okay, well, with the helmet, I agree. Helmets for kids, they need it. But the parents that piss me off, these are the people who believe the coronavirus is going to work. Not only are they the ones that had to wear the helmet, but they also had to wear the elbow pads, the knee pads, and the wrist pads when they're riding their bike.
Yeah.
Okay, just a basic helmet on your head as a kid when you're learning to ride a bike. I agree with that because, their little brains and skulls are sensitive.
I'll accept your counter argument of the elbow pads.
Yeah, but the parents that make their kids wear the elbow pads, the wrist pads, the knee pads, all the pads, and the helmet.
Those are the kids that grow up to want coronavirus.
Yes, those are the
vaccine.
kids. Those are the ones that want the virus. They're not. Those are the ones that want the virus. The vaccine.
Yeah, the vaccine.
They want the vaccine.
Yeah,
and they're they want that kind of protection.
The kids that rip the helmet off. And
the kids that only wore a helmet or didn't wear a helmet. Those are the ones that are give me the virus.
Give me the virus. I don't care.
Just let me have it. You don't need to inject it into me. Just expose yourself to me. That's me. I'm if you have the Rona, please give it to me. Just let me have it, so that way I don't have to. So that way I don't have to get a vaccine. I don't want the damn vaccine.
This guy says it's not about the helmet. It's about the decision to wear it or not to wear it.
I don't wear a helmet as an adult, but as a child, I think just because...
But the analogy is that when you're a child, your parents are forcing you the same way the government's going to force you.
Kind of.
That's why I say that.
But the parents are doing it for a good reason. It's not
the government says the same thing. The government says this is
when
for your good.
When you're little and it's your job as a parent to make sure your kid doesn't die or doesn't receive some kind of brain damage. I get why parents want to put a helmet on their kids when they're learning learning to ride a bike.
That's what I'm saying.
When they're learning, but once they get older and I stopped wearing a helmet at 14, but
I'm saying there's a bunch of people who never
stopped wearing the helmet.
They never grew out of that risk aversion.
Yeah, no, trust me.
This is where they end up. They want everything to be safe. They want censorship. They want to, make the words soft. They want to censor, mean words or whatever.
But for little kids, I'm okay, wear the damn helmet. But if you're a grown ass adult that can that knows how to ride a bike and you're wearing a damn helmet, I'm sorry, fail. Just total failure.
So we got dark days ahead, and this guy says the country needs leadership.
Oh.
The president-elect is up to the task.
Totally.
Of providing that leadership.
Adding that
it could also come from local and state officials or those in the medical community.
That's hilarious.
You referenced fireside chats over broadcast radio. Yeah. People don't want to hear that El Paso isn't an isolated event. I was kind of shocked when I was in Texas a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, and I heard that El Paso was on a mandatory 2-week shutdown for everything. Because it's in Texas. You wouldn't think that,
Well, they're on the border of Texas and Mexico, and they have a lot of, they've got a lot of stuff to deal with in El Paso especially. So I can see why they might be, just because they got a lot of bodies coming in and out from the border. So
yes, we got a good argument in
my
chat.
Body, my choice.
My body, my choice.
Right?
I'll bust that one out.
I mean, I'll bust that one out.
Who owns your body? Good question.
My body, my choice.
Mm-hmm.
It is totally when it comes to that, yeah. But when you're, unfortunately, when you're a little kid, that's the kind of crappy thing about being a kid, is you have to listen to your parents. You're like, damn it, I don't.
That's the whole point of the analogy I'm making.
I know.
Is that now the government is acting like your parents, like
Yeah.
you have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also read that, who was it? It was Ticketmaster. I don't know. I need a fact check on this one. Ticketmaster is thinking about, anyway, potentially requiring proof of a vaccine before you can get into events.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
So when I draw that analogy between the government and the parents forcing the kids to act in a certain way, that's what I'm talking about. That's where the enforcement comes in. Not necessarily from the government, but from the corporate government entity at large. So, yeah.
He says, chicks dig big scars or big dicks. Well, I'm not sure. Delaney can't answer this one. No, I can't, because I mean, I like girls. I appreciate the beauty of men, but not like that. I'm sorry. I can't answer.
The government owns your body. Otherwise, why would they lock you up for suicide attempts?
That's true.
Well, that's kind of the argument for the war on drugs to end, right, as well. Is that I remember when I was in college, I was the president of Young Americans for Liberty chapter.
Okay.
And we would non-ironically advocate for legalizing heroin because you just should be allowed to put whatever you want in your body. It's your body.
Yeah.
Why is the government going to tell me what I can and can't do with my body? If I get on heroin and then I start getting violent or messing with people, arrest me immediately.
Yeah,
Shoot me, tase me, whatever you want to do.
But if just for the simple crime of this being an addict, like I agree to some degree.
You don't even have to be addicted. You just have to inject it once, and then you abuse. You're breaking the law.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, that's just, yeah.
The point is, government has too much control.
They kind of
do. That's
yeah.
what this point of this article is. Okay, they want to lock everything down.
They want to lock us all
kill the economy
and make sure that we all are on that government teat of unemployment and all that garbage. Like, it's terrible. I'm over it.
Yes, increase the reliance on the government.
Give us the nutrients of the government.
Remove your ability to be a independent, self-sufficient citizen.
They don't want us to be independent. No.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want us to be independent. They don't want that. Like, no.
Legalize freedom. Legalize all drugs. Portugal, I think. Well, Oregon legalized.
I was gonna say, like, we should talk about that for a little bit in the stream.
Decriminalize drugs.
I'd heard about that in Oregon, but
you know what I say? Good.
Yeah, I say good too.
Let them.
They're already killing themselves with drugs in Oregon.
If there's any state that I would just choose to do an experiment on,
it's Oregon.
It's Oregon.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I said about Oregon too.
Let them do it.
Just let them all inject their heroin, and they say that it's for to be able to use psychedelics to cure and help with PTSD and psychiatric issues, and I'm just like, no, y'all just want to have a reason to do drugs in the street and not get thrown in jail for it.
So?
I think so for a lot of them, but you know what? Let them do it. That's fine. Let them do it. Oregon has been full of just degeneracy and terribleness for months now. Let them. Years, but months on end because of George Floyd. For a few
Rest
days.
in peace.
For a few, R.I.P. George Floyd, the total martyr that was a good person that didn't do anything wrong.
Whoa.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Stream getting cut down in 3,
right?
2.
Hey, I'm agreeing with the total lefties. He did nothing wrong. He didn't swallow some fentanyl and just go into a drug-induced hysteria and basically kill himself.
Well,
it was all the cop. It was all his fault.
Yeah, I would say that psychedelics are probably the least of your worries on that.
Right?
People are gonna try them a couple of times, once or twice, and you'll be like, "Whoa!"
So I'm I agree with you on the whole. If I'm gonna pick one state to experiment this whole legalization of drugs, I'd pick Oregon. Let them, because they've been causing nothing but mischief for years now. They've been a breeding ground for Antifa and all of that garbage for years now, but mostly Portland. And I've talked to people who live outside of, ooh, you broke it. I've talked to people who live outside of Portland, and they are we don't claim Portland. We don't give a crap about Portland. Screw Portland. Portland, it's its own entity in Oregon. The rest of Oregon is just okay, we're not
lab rats.
They are. It's total lab rats going on in Portland. I've been seeing some coverage of what's going on in Portland. Apparently, they started rioting again.
Of course.
For a few days, they were okay, and then they're back to rioting. And
well, we all knew that their rioting is not dependent on a certain person being in office.
Right? They don't care. They just want to riot because they don't give a fuck.
Magically make their lives better and magically make them not a mutant and magically make them happy.
Right?
They're gonna be rioting, regardless.
Yeah. They're just crazies that live on the street. So you saw the video of the parking lots in Portland where they converted it to where the homeless, the Antifa, the people who Antifa recruits to riot and to start shit. They are housing them in these parking lots. Well, now it's changed. Now they're outside of the parking lots. They're sleeping in the center divides in Oregon, in the parks in Portland. Like, they just don't give a
Not enough
shit.
room.
They just don't give it.
They
No,
got
they are
room.
just like, they have been under wraps for a few days, but now they just can't handle it. They're mad that like Ted Wheeler got reelected, but it's their fault that Ted Wheeler
yeah.
got
Of
reelected.
course they're upset.
They're so mad that Ted Wheeler got reelected and not
That
their
is- That's a
person.
little surprising that that socialist chick didn't get elected.
But that's the reason why that
There's still enough normies left that they reelected Ted Cruz. Or,
Ted Wheeler.
Ted Wheeler.
No, but the thing is, they didn't want Ted Wheeler, so they're out there protesting that Ted Wheeler won.
Yeah.
But they're the reason why Ted Wheeler won, because all of the Antifa losers
Let
were
her make
voting
that
for that socialist chick, and because they like, it was a significant enough amount of people that voted for that super like lefty, wearing, communist leaders on her skirt,
Wow.
communist leaders on her skirt, bitch. They like, it was like almost 40,000 people voted for her. That it made Ted Wheeler win, and that makes them mad. And it's like, well, it's your fault that Ted Wheeler's in now, and now they're rioting and starting shit with the cops. So it's almost like just a vicious cycle that's like we just keep seeing in.
They've entered the event horizon.
Yeah,
You can't really come back until you enter the black hole itself. That's a space reference for all you nerds.
They can't even. They are just so gone. They can't even see.
That's why I say fine. Let them.
Yeah, let
be the
them.
lab rats. Cool.
Yeah, let them.
Perfect.
Let's
love
experiment in Portland. But I just hate how Portland is.
Poetic.
Portland is just how a lot of people are seeing what's going on in Oregon. Because I've been trying to say this, like, the rest of Oregon doesn't claim Portland. They're like, what's going on in Portland is stupid. We don't like it. We don't agree with it. But we're really far away from Portland. So we can't, like, it's not like we can go and counter protest them because they're on the other side of Oregon. Whereas like people who are in Portland, it's just like, it's a monolith.
It's like that in every state, though. Same thing in California.
Yeah, in
The cities are all
California.
blue, and everything outside of that is deep red. But it doesn't matter. Because
I
it's
mean,
all
if you
about
looked at the
population.
election map, like most of the states who were
Portland
like,
is a CIA experiment to topple governments.
kind of, yeah, I
think
agree.
so.
If you look at like all of the
up,
states in the
David?
election map, most of them are, if you look on the outside of the major cities in each state, they are all red. And then you look at the major cities, they're like super deep blue.
Yeah, everyone knows that. The cities are always blue.
I just don't like it. I don't like that, seeing that like a tiny fraction of what the state represents is getting represented in that way. It seems a little weird and it's terrible. Now I understand why California is in such a struggle, man, because if you look at it, Sacramento, LA, San Francisco, and then like kind of the surrounding areas around them, blue, but then you go outside of that and it's all red.
Super red.
And then they're the ones that come down the hill, and they're the ones that come into the cities to try to like get people to see like, hey, maybe we should stop voting for Democrats and maybe like give other people shots. And they're just like, no, fuck you, you racist. It's like, no, not really. I just want you to maybe think that these issues are just, they are what you think, but maybe instead of voting for the people that aren't doing anything for you, that you should maybe try something different. Try somebody else that doesn't have a D next to their name.
I've got a solution
Okay.
right here.
Oh yeah, this one's a good one. Florida's governor drafts laws that would allow people to shoot looters. We had like
Problem solved.
problem solved.
So well, I'll get into my opinion behind the whole narrative after this. Florida's governor has drafted an anti-mob legislation to expand already controversial stand your ground laws to allow people to shoot looters, according to a report. A draft of Governor Ron DeSantis' proposed bill expands the list of forcible felonies under Florida's self-defense law to include criminal mischief causing interruption or impairment of a business, according to the Miami Herald, which obtained a copy. It also specifically allows force against those looting, which the draft defines as burglary within 500 feet of a violent or disorderly assembly. DeSantis also wants to make it a third-degree felony to block traffic during a protest and offer immunity to drivers who accidentally kill or injure protesters who do so.
Oh, okay. So that cop that in Sacramento, that CHP officer that hit that kid outside of the what was it? McClellan, the other couple months ago. He won't get prosecuted. Cool.
Probably not.
If it was in Florida, but in California, that cop's gonna get fired.
There's more.
Okay.
Numerous other sections enhance criminal penalties for people involved in violent or disorderly assemblies and withhold state funds from local governments that cut law enforcement funding. I mean, this is like all in. They're taking on the defunding the police aspect of it. They're taking on the rioters, the looters, the protesting in the middle of the street, which I don't think is actually legal anywhere.
It's not
But
legal.
they tolerate it.
Yeah.
Because I think you need a permit to do that, actually.
You do.
But they just let it happen everywhere. And then when people get upset, when they see footage of, oh, this person got hit by a car on the freeway. Well, they were on a freeway.
Yeah, they're on
there
a.
was no permit.
The whole point of a freeway is so that way there's no potential like humans or life crossing in front of you, so that way you're free to go 65 miles an hour without the idea of like a random person walking in the middle of it. It's not like a residential. That's why freeways are usually away from residential areas, because they don't want people on the freeways and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my Lord.
DeSantis 2024 in chat.
I mean, that's
Interesting.
That's a good one. That's a good for 2024. Like we've been saying for the Republicans after all of this, or if for some reason Joe Biden does win and we don't have Trump running in 2024, and Trump does win, who's going to run for the Republicans in 2024? We got to come up with cool people.
Trump's going to run in 2024.
You think Biden's going to win this?
So, okay, here's the thing about this article.
Okay.
The people have been crying about defunding the police for so long. They don't realize that just like they're making the same mistake that Republicans made when they went into the Middle East and all those occupation wars.
Yeah.
They take out a certain person or certain group of power, creates a vacuum.
Yeah.
The vacuum will always fill itself.
Yeah, well.
In this case, whether it's legal or not, business owners are going to start shooting rioters.
They should.
Now, this guy's just making it legal in order to disincentivize the rioters from doing that, which is a good step because he's saving the rioters' lives. That's really what he's doing.
If he tells the rioters, if you decide to go and loot, the businesses have the right to shoot you, that might discourage people from actually looting. Maybe.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Now, the leftists are going to interpret this as, oh, they want to just have free range on the rioters. No. You follow the rules that we all agree to when we live in a society. As long as you follow those, nothing bad is going to happen.
If you don't want to get shot, don't loot. Simple.
Yeah, it's it's
a simple idea, but for some reason these leftists think like, oh, well, they should be able to loot. No, I'm sorry. If I can't go and loot, like, just tear down businesses right down the street or just businesses in general, I'm sorry, nobody should. Like, it's not fair for businesses who've worked their whole lives to build their business. No, sorry. I think businesses should have the right to defend their businesses.
Power vacuums always occur. That's right, Anthony.
Yes, you're right. Smart man, Anthony.
Did you guys hear about Joanne Hards? I don't know what the last name is. Making a scene and calling the police during a Lyft ride.
Yes, so my roommate told me about this. He was playing
What happened?
I didn't hear the whole thing, but he told me about like how Joanne Hardestay got, and he used to live in Portland, so he doesn't like Hardestay. But he told, like, I listened to the call, and she's just like, well, I just got kicked out of this Lyft.
Who is she?
She's a part of the council in Portland. So she's like one of
Portland
the
City Councilwoman of color.
Yeah, she's like one of the council members of Portland, and she's just one of them people that lets Black Lives Matter do whatever the hell they want in the city. They can assault people.
Okay, so what was the premise of her call? Was she
apparently got kicked out of a Lyft.
Calling police during a Lyft ride.
Yeah, she got kicked. So the driver like canceled the Lyft on her and told her to get out. And she called the cops on him and was like, well, he needs to call me another ride. And the police officer's like, well, ma'am, you can get on the phone and do that yourself. That's up to you. Like, if he wants to cancel the ride on you, it's his right to cancel the ride on you. So you need to the human
form of CRT, critical race theory.
Yeah. Joanne Hardesty is terrible. I've seen many.
Sounds like an awful human being just from that interaction.
She's just one of them. Like, I'll send you.
Karen. She's a Karen.
She's a total
That sounds like a
Karen.
to
She's
me.
like a black Karen with like these nasty ass
Black
dreadlocks on
people
her
can
hair.
be Karens too.
No, she has these like nasty ass dreadlocks on her hair, and it's just on her head. It's just she's just bad. She just sounds terrible. She's like one of them people that tries to sound smart, but she's really like just not smart at
The
all.
word salad people.
Yeah, the word salad people. She is. She's one of them. I've seen her, like, so I follow on YouTube Brandon Farley. He's a journalist up in Portland. He documents like all the stuff that's going on up there. His channel got taken down for a while, and then they got put back up, and he like lost a lot of content. So he's been posting a bunch of new stuff. So that's why I keep up with like kind of the stuff that's going on in Portland because of him. 'Cause he like rides around on his bike and like takes videos of these leftist losers, and they all try to assault him. And
Karen's a racial slur on white women. Well, I'm making it inclusive, and it's an inclusive slur now. It also includes black women.
yeah, black women can be named Karen.
Karen.
No
Oh,
disrespect
that's
to
good.
any black Karens out there,
That's
but
good. That's good.
y'all
actually.
exist. I know you
No,
do.
Dirk made a great suggestion that we call him Shakaren with a Q.
Karen with a Q just to make it ethnic.
Oh my God.
Karen. SH apostrophe. You got to have that apostrophe in there for inclusion. Q. Not even a U. Not even a true.
Just QA.
Just QA. Not even a U. That's
So
hilarious.
is this bill in Florida going to pass? I don't know. Let's see what New York Post says.
We'll see.
While a draft version of the bill was circulated to the Senate Committee on Criminal Justice, it has not been filed in either House or the Senate, but has already sparked outrage. Of course, it allows for vigilantes to justify their actions. Denise Georges, that was not a female voice. I didn't know that was going to be a female. Former Miami-Dade County prosecutor said, it also allows for death to be the punishment for a property crime, and that is cruel and unusual punishment. So this is the property over people argument that we
Right.
see from the left now. So when you say, well, it's bad to loot and riot and burn businesses, they say, oh, you care more about property than people.
I do, yes.
You care more about property than justice.
Yes, I do. Sorry. Like,
Well, that property is literally, for a lot of people, it's their livelihood.
exactly.
That's what they don't understand.
That's what they don't
Like,
understand.
that's how their children get fed and survive. That's how they survive.
That's how many of families live and survive, is off of property. How else do you? Oh my, yeah. When people try to do that, when leftists try to do that argument, like you care more about property than people, I'll be like, yes, I do.
That's
Because that's a fundamental thing that everybody's entitled to is property.
It's an interesting. Well, see, of course, they don't believe in property rights.
Yeah, they don't believe in
Which is
it.
why
Because they're total idiots.
That's why that argument is so easy for them to spit out because they don't care about property at all.
Yeah. They
So
don't want anybody to have
That
property.
tells you where this former Miami-Dade County prosecutor is. She's touting communist talking points.
Kinda, yeah. Oh my gosh. And oh yeah, this quote later is pretty great.
It dangerously gives armed private citizens power to kill as they subjectively determine what constitutes criminal mischief that interferes with the business. So, if somebody's busting through your windows and throwing Molotovs into your store,
And you've told them several times to stop, please, and you're nice to them, and you're not, being a total a-hole, you still don't have the right to shoot them.
they act like these business owners have just been waiting their entire lives for somebody to knock on their window so they could blow them away with a shotgun at point blank range. Like these these donut makers are ruthless killers,
Right?
who are waiting to leap on these unsuspecting poor little black and minority
Right?
protesters.
The poor minorities. Someone graffitiing Black Lives Matter on a wall, urinating behind a dumpster, blocking an entrance.
Yeah.
Right? What?
Yep. Yeah.
That's not the same as breaking in, like tearing down someone's business and stealing from them. That's not the same.
No, if I'm a lowly bar operator, a barkeep, I'm gonna shoot the guy who's peeing behind the dumpster. I have no
Yeah,
choice.
of course.
I'm compelled to react in that manner, and I have to blow him away.
It's not like I have reason enough to be like, hey,
I'm a bloodthirsty savage.
you're a bloodthirsty savage and you just want
and I
everybody to
also
die.
serve drinks on the side.
The Boston Tea Party members would have been lawfully shot under Florida's law by the British East India Tea Company, he said. What? He's trying to compare like Black Lives Matter and all these looters to the Boston Tea Party. No, that's not fair. You can't do that.
Well, they're trying to take a dig at the right wingers with that one. They're like, hey, this issue appeals to you as well because Boston Tea Party. Remember that?
Yeah, you remember
You
that?
liked that.
Those rebels. Well, yeah, they were rebels, but they weren't out there burning. They weren't looting. They were dumping the tea that they were being taxed for into the bay because they were not being fairly represented. Whereas Black Lives Matter and all these looters are just stealing from businesses because they're mad. That's different. It's totally different. That's not just being mad.
Roof Koreans are true Americans, says Dirk Skugum. That's what this is. This is legalizing
Roof
the
Koreans. They are. Roof Koreans really are.
This is.
I love them Roof Koreans, man.
Dude, the Roof Koreans, they're hardcore.
They are.
That's the representation of America in a nutshell right there.
Roof
You
Koreans.
come here, you work hard, and then you defend what you've built. Mm-hmm. Rightfully. You're not imposing your will on anybody. You're only acting in defense. Mm-hmm. That's the American spirit wrapped up in a nutshell right there.
Just like I've seen when the Kenosha riots were going on, there were a bunch of Sikh business owners that were had their AR-15 strapped to their business, and they were out front of their businesses protecting their businesses, like in their turbans and shit, but they had guns strapped to them. They were like ready. I was like, fuck yeah, that's America right there.
Yeah.
Ready to stand up and protect your business.
Yeah, we don't care if they're white or
Don't
black
care
or
if you're
whatever.
white or black or whoever. If you're gonna come in and try to take from me what I've earned over years and decades of living in this country and dealing with this bullshit, I'm gonna defend that. That's American as hell.
People over property.
People over property. But if you're gonna but if you're gonna just try to burn, loot, and murder, people need to stand the fuck up and strap the fuck up. Like, this is it, yo.
So what do you guys think? Who's moving to Florida?
I want to move to Florida. I thought about
Florida
it.
if that goes through?
Right?
I'd move to Florida and own a business just so I could blow away protesters all day long.
Life Roto, he says, I'm Sikh. We protect everyone from harm. That's why him and I agree.
Yes.
The Sikhs are some of the biggest badass motherfuckers there are. They are the hardworking, they care, but don't fuck with them.
That's awesome. It's true.
It's so true. I love it. I love it. I freaking
Too bad
love
Wisconsin doesn't have DeSantis. Yeah.
Right? Poor Wisconsin. I feel bad for them.
Well, I never considered Florida to be that red. I guess they've kind of always been in the teetering in the middle, but
they have their pockets, man.
they've got pockets.
I've talked to people who live in Florida, and this one kid that I met on Instagram, he's like from the Miami area, and he says there's a lot of like Cuban immigrants they're very split, man. They're very split in the Cuban immigrant section, man. There's the half of them that
Dirk says Cubans too.
They're the half of them that love America and all the freedoms and like the ability to protect yourselves, and then there's the ones that immigrated here and they are total, like they still have that communist mindset of,
they're still in it, like they like it.
Yeah, they like it.
Oh, weird. I
And they
thought
want it.
all of them were like super against it.
They should be, but they're not. It's quite a phenomenon.
Interesting.
It's like they have Stockholm syndrome, and they like, even though they've come to America and they have escaped communism like that, they still like the idea of, socialized medicine, socialized, education, socialized this, socialized that.
Ration food.
Even if it's not fresh food and it's terrible food, ration gasoline portions, even if you're waiting in line for days and days and days to get gasoline to fill up your vehicle,
To fill up your Nova.
To fill up everything.
Fill up your 1965 Chevy Nova.
Yeah, dude. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I'm considering moving to Florida after all of this. I'm like, damn.
It's enticing.
It's enticing.
Not because I want to shoot anybody. Obviously, that was a joke. I'm playing into the leftist stereotype of, all they want to do is shoot them.
All I want to do is shoot some motherfuckers.
I just want to blow them away all day. Not because of that, but because you're like, I wouldn't probably live in an environment like I'm in right now where everything is boarded up. Everything's shut down. Everything looks like ass.
Right?
And these businesses are suffering, which means that the people
Businesses
that live
are
in the
closing
city aren't
down.
enjoying it as much. Mm-hmm. And that, it just creates all kind of downstream second and third order effects that nobody likes to think about.
Try to tell people, if you want a little taste of what socialism, communism, whatever ism leftist leaning that you want, just come to California and view it for yourself. Come to LA. Just go down to like downtown LA and see what communism and socialism looks like, because you'll see it. Come to Sacramento. Just walk down the streets in downtown Sacramento. You'll see it.
Well, you got to be kind of a hard person to live there because you got hurricanes and stuff all the time. So you got to deal with that.
I do
That's why
true.
people who live in the real cold are hard.
I agree. I can't do the cold. I'm too tiny for the cold.
Not enough brown fat.
I don't have enough of that brown fat. I'm just tiny. So I can't, the coldest I do is because we live in Sac, so we're not too far from Tahoe. So I'll go up to Tahoe every once in a while if I want to get like a little fix of like snow/cold. But that only happens for a few months out of the year in Tahoe. Otherwise, the rest of the time in Tahoe, it's beautiful and like hot and prosperous. Even though the water,
you're typical Cali girl, you want to be able to travel to the snow when you want. I
just want to go to the snow when I want and not like have to live in it. I don't want to live in it. I want to just visit it. I can't. I'm a total lizard. Like, give me the sun. Give me the sun. I need the sun. I love the sun. Man, we're getting some good stuff in chat, man, tonight. This is good.
Arian Roth was linking up with another Indians.
Yes, hell yes. I love it. I love it. I'm glad that, like, I mentioned...
Snow builds character.
Snow does build character. I will admit that. It teaches you a lot, but I just don't like it.
Builds character, and it builds... arguably it builds civilizations, because, Europeans had to go through the cold winters and learn how to deal with storing food and seasons. And I don't want to get into that because I don't want to get my channel canceled, because that goes down history. You can't really talk about history anymore.
You can't talk about history. No. I mean, they're gonna censor us.
They're gonna rewrite history anyway.
Yeah, they've already rewritten history.
Because, bam.
Black Lives Matter. They do matter.
Black Lives Matter. So, you guys know how we just had an election and all that. Well, you know how Black Lives Matter was like basically the PR team for the left. You know what I mean? They were hype. They were the hyping everything up with the riots and the protests. They were all doing all the voter enthusiasm.
If you just type in Antifa.com, it'll take you right to Joe Biden's page, because they wanted to make it really easy for everybody to know if you're anti-fascist or if you want Black Lives to matter, you got to vote for Joe Biden.
Well, that was a joke, but I think this is very interesting for multiple reasons. Now, this is BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors. Mm-hmm. You want to know why this is super interesting? Because I've been saying for a while that citing how the BLM is a Marxist organization, because the founders, people like Patrisse, are avowed Marxists.
They claim that they are.
They say it out loud. It's not like you have to a long time ago in this book that has the pages that fell out, we don't know what they are anymore and we lost the records. No, she said it out loud in an interview, in recording, on video.
Yeah, she says we're trained Marxists.
That her and some of the other BLM founders are trained Marxists.
Oh yeah, they've said it. They praise it. They're like, yeah.
And I would say this.
Black Lives Matter.
When people ask what I think is wrong with Black Lives Matter, I say, well, they're just trying to push a Marxist agenda. You know that, right? And then like, whoa.
No way.
The leaders aren't Marxists. How do you know that? Well, and then I pointed there, right there.
Yeah.
The founders, they said, well, they're just the founders. They're not involved. It's not a real organization.
They're not an organization, but they have founders.
There's no leaders or anything. But
they have leaders.
And then we come to this. So Patrisse Cullors, the not founder, not involved at all with BLM, but now making statements to the President-elect Biden's team. Mm-hmm. Black Lives Matter has a political agenda, and its leaders, there it is right there. It says right there. You guys see that? You guys see this word right here?
And it says it's leaders.
So now I can
refer... If they're not an organization, why do they have leaders?
Wait, is the Federalist right-leaning, or is it left-leaning? I think it's right-leaning, so you can't really use this as a good source. But anyway, you get my point.
It's probably right-leaning.
I've beaten my point into the
If they're Federalists, then they're probably right-leaning.
That's what I was thinking. The leaders now demand that as payback for supporting the potential Biden-Harris administration throughout the election, Democrats use the White House to do the Marxist organization's bidding. Yeah, this is definitely a right-leaning organization.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Which is fine, because we're going to lead through the actual letter itself. So we don't have to get all the
we don't have to get the commentary.
Yeah.
The commentary, yeah.
So, BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors sent a letter to former Vice President Joe Biden and his vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris, congratulating them on winning the presidential election. They did not yet, and demanding a meeting to discuss BLM's expectations, quote, for their administration. A well thought out, community driven, fully resourced agenda. that addresses the particular challenges faced by black people must be the priority, she wrote.
Okay.
So let's scroll down because they, well, I guess let's just read through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just got to zoom in a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's a little fuzzy. Dear President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, congratulations on your election to presidency and vice presidency of the United States. Like so many, we are relieved that the Trump era in government is coming to a close.
Okay.
Thinking past the sale. Anyway, as we celebrate this electoral demise, thinking past the sale, we also know this political exit does not ensure an end to the intolerable conditions faced by black people in America. So they're starting to transition in, right, where they are going to be calling Biden the racist and everything. If they're setting up the premise that if you don't follow along with what we demand, we're going to call you the racist.
You're the R word.
Just like we called Trump the racist. She continues, a well-thought-out, community-driven, fully resourced agenda. We went over that quote. Black people must be a top priority. We are requesting a meeting with you both to discuss the expectations that we have for your administration and the commitments that must be made to black people.
To black people.
Must be made.
Must be.
Does this sound like a demand to you?
Kinda. A little bit. A little demanding.
It's like, hey, we did all this stuff for you, so now
we got all this money and everything and all this
was
power.
in the agenda the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna come to you for our demands because we helped you out with the election so much.
We helped you win the election, so we are demanding that you have a meeting with us to hear our demands. Because that ultimately works the best.
That's how it works.
That ultimately works the best when you go on demanding people. Yeah. Sounds great.
Justification for the letter. Here it is. They're reminding Biden, right? Without the resounding support of black people, we would be saddled with a very different electoral outcome. In short, black people won this election.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Alongside black-led organizations around the nation, Black Lives Matter invested heavily in this election. Vote and organize.
Yeah, we know.
Vote and organize became our motto, and our electoral justice efforts reached more than 60 million voters. We want something for our vote.
Oh, yeah. So we gave you all this money and all this influence, and we want our reparations, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much it.
Well, they don't elaborate in this what they want to talk about, which I think is for a reason. But we've all seen the agenda that they had up on their page before. You remember that? Like, dismantle the
nuclear family. Dismantle Western civilization.
Yeah.
Promote transgenderism and the gays and all that stuff because, all black and colored people are gay and lesbians.
Yeah,
and
it's very
transgenders.
LGBT oriented as well.
But the normal black folk that just are straight and have families, they don't matter. But let's get rid of the Western prescribed nuclear family as being the best archetype to having success in life.
That's key to the success of black people.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. The key to success for black people and just people in general is having a mother and a father in the household raising their children.
Whoa.
Whether it doesn't matter what their skin type is, but let's get rid of that. That's what BLM wants.
We want
the organization.
We want to be heard.
Yeah.
And our agenda to be prioritized. We issue these expectations not because black people are the most consistent and reliable voters for Democrats, kind of admitting that black people are basically enslaved to the Democratic Party.
Kind of, little.
But also because black people are truly living in crisis. I'd love to see the rationale for saying that.
Right?
In a nation that was built on our subjugation. Ooh, there it is.
There it is,
The eternal sin.
The eternal sin of being white is that you're just going to have to live with that. You're people enslaved. People of darker skin tone. Even if your family didn't do it. None of your family members, maybe like generations after generations
you
back.
You are part of the race that did it. So
yeah,
you are
you're
equally
part of the
guilty.
race that did it, even though, where do you think white people learned slavery from?
Okay, this is cool because you know why? This is, so imagine, to switch up the gears a little bit. You're reading the scrolls that you just found in the cave in the Middle East. And it's a story from James or whoever, and you're like, man, this is a weird story. What's he trying to say? Well, what is he doing here? This is like a scroll that you dig up when you're just discovering how this religion of wokeness was founded.
It's all right here.
This is like the demand from Paul to the king or whatever.
Yeah, right?
That's what this is.
This is in history, this is what it's going to be.
It's a cultural artifact of the founding of a religion, and they're laying it out. You have the eternal, inherent sin. You've got, the hierarchy laid out. Black people are above you, and white people need to subjugate to us, basically, because we were subjugated to them. Intolerable conditions. They're painting the bleak picture. They're doing all the same stuff that like stories in the Bible did.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible's been talking about all this stuff for years. Where do you think they draw this kind of shit from? Honestly, they say that they're like anti-Christian.
I don't know if Marxism takes anything directly from like Christianity, but this is, you can't help but draw the parallels.
They say that they're anti-religious, but the thing about like Christianity and just religion in general, it's all the same stories. Like it's all the same ideas.
But it's got the same key components, and we can see them all right here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a secular religion, just like Anthony says in chat. Thank you, MA. That's what I'm here for. I try to put things well.
Yeah, Jeremy's the voice of reason here. I'm just the idiot. I'm just the moron.
The clown, sideshow.
I am the sideshow, so.
No, you're not the sideshow.
I'm total sideshow. It's okay.
All right, we want to be heard in our agenda prioritized. I already read that part. Oh, this part was good. Listen, it says, up until this point, the United States has refused to directly reckon with the way that it devalues black people and devastates our lives. It's code word for what? Reparations, right? Reparations. This cannot continue. Black people can neither afford to live through the vitriol of a Trump-like presidency, nor through the indifference of a Democrat-controlled government that refuses to wrestle with its most egregious and damnable shame. Damnation. Just like in the Bible. I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah.
But I made the reference before they said it, and look what happened. They fulfilled it. Now we know how you can enter the gates of heaven. You can give them the reparations. If you don't atone for your sin and ask for forgiveness, then you get damned. Egregious and damnable shame.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this sounds some like biblical stuff, even though they hate the Bible.
But the funny part is,
they hate religion.
This is what they say they can't tolerate, though. They say, this cannot continue. Black people can neither afford to live through the vitriol of a Trump-like presidency. What does vitriol mean to you?
Like disdain or just absolute, just full embody of like hatred.
Vitriol just basically means to me, like somebody who's throwing around like trash talk, but with a little more maliciousness to it. That's the best thing that they have to list for what they have to deal with, is somebody saying mean things.
Oh my God, he said something so mean to me.
That's how I interpret vitriol. Vitriol is like, was rhetoric. Right?
It is rhetoric.
Vitriol means like negative rhetoric, basically.
You said some mean things.
Right. You said some things with maliciousness that I didn't like.
But then when you ask, like, but did he do anything to harm you?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they could have, why didn't they put, like, so if Trump was really a super bad, super racist president, couldn't they say something like, imagine if it said this cannot continue. Black people can neither afford to live through the segregation and imprisonment and enslavement of black people in the Trump presidency. Like, internment camps of blacks maybe would be something I would imagine in my head, if we're going really actually super racist.
But I haven't seen any of that happen, so.
That's why they have to resort.
I know, they have.
So pathetic. They have to resort to using vitriol as the worst possible thing.
According to these people, blacks, gays, anybody that questioned Trump were supposed to be in internment camps. I haven't been interned yet, and I'm super gay. Even though I love Trump, I haven't been interned yet. I haven't been zapped yet, so.
They haven't like woken you up in the middle of the night and pulled you out, ripped you out of bed.
Yeah, they haven't
put like a shot collar on you.
You're
gay, aren't you?
They haven't forced me to like.
You like the homosexual sex.
I'm into that homosexual
and then they
degeneracy.
Zap you with tasers and stuff.
They haven't like put.
It's actually Mike Pence is gonna do it. Mike Pence is gonna hit you with a cow prod.
They haven't put like an implant in my brain that every time I see a beautiful woman and I feel some type of way, it just zaps me and be like, no, that's how you're supposed to feel about men. No, there's none of that going on. But they are dramatizing it all. They want it to be this worse than it is. And
Dirk says in chat, what's the meanest thing he said about black people? Even then, even if you take this as an actual serious argument, like the vitriol. Oh, vitriol.
Oh my God,
Okay, so he must have said something really bad. So what is it?
What did he say? Please point me to.
What was the worst thing he said about black people?
Please let me know. That's what I try to give. I try to say to all of these left-leaning people that I have in my life, when they say he's a istward, racist, homophobe, all this stuff, I'm like, what did he say exactly? That is.
There's nothing.
What did he say exactly?
That's why this letter is so pathetic.
It is. It's super pathetic and super low energy, just so low energy. Like, you can tell that they're not even happy that Joe Biden, like, won.
No, they would rather. Oh, that's a good point, actually. They would rather have Trump in office because
It'll give them something to talk about.
that's what energizes their base.
Yeah.
That's what they have to have, an oppressor in order to exist.
They have to have somebody continue.
Well, that's what I was talking about in the original paragraph. It was framing Biden as the potential new oppressor. So they're making sure that he knows that you're going to be the oppressor now if you don't. Yeah. So no, it's all. Yeah.
They're just garbage. Like, this is just garbage.
All right, we got one paragraph left. Let's see what Black Lives Matter has to say. The leaders.
The leaders.
Like,
the leaders.
President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. Both of you discussed addressing systemic racism as central to your election campaigns. Both of you also expressed regrets regarding your record on issues impacting black people.
Oh, yeah.
You've asked for forgiveness. But the best way to ensure that you remedy past missteps and work towards a more just future for the black people, and by extension all people, is to take your direction from black grassroots organizers that have been engaged in this work for decades, with a legacy that spans back to the first arrival of enslaved Africans. We look forward to meeting with you at your convenience to begin immediate work of black liberation. We'd like to be actively engaged in your transitions team's planning and policy work. Congratulations on your win. So
let's go to work.
Is anybody in chat a little
and then notice
interested / concerned about the fact that the people who wanted to dismantle Western society and the nuclear family are demanding immediate work and to be actively engaged in policy,
right,
and planning?
And then anybody else notice how it says, most sincerely, Patrice Cullors, on behalf of the Black Lives Matter Global Network.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
They say, all these leftists keep saying it's not an organization.
So there we go. Even though I can't cite this article for saying the leaders because it's a right-wing article, but
the bottom of the letter says, on behalf of the Black Lives Matter Global Network.
She's speaking on behalf of Black
Lives Matter Global Network, not just the United States network, but the global network. That just proves that there's a global thing going on with the Black Lives Matter crap and this Antifa crap. Like, I'm sorry, they keep saying it's not an organization. It's not an organization. There's nobody, not one person running it, but there is.
Anthony Kozla says in chat, South Africa, anybody? Does that ring any bells?
Oh my God, yeah.
Very similar.
South Africa is very similar.
How long until they start chopping up white guys with machetes?
Yeah, how long until
hyperbolic, but
how long until black people just start going into white neighborhoods and killing white people and taking over their houses and their property and saying this is ours.
It's all about
just because we're black and we were oppressed and we deserve it.
It's all about retaliation, revenge.
It is.
It's all about revenge.
It's all about revenge for them.
There's a fake premise in the letter that says, basically, you have to atone for these past sins and you have to work with us in order to do that.
Right.
It's almost like they lay out conditions by which they'll be satisfied.
Yeah, this is what will satisfy us, but if you don't listen to us, then we're going to riot and pillage and loot and burn and everything.
They will never be satisfied.
They won't be satisfied until they get a check.
Even if this generation,
until they get what the Native Americans got, they will not be satisfied.
No, even then they won't be satisfied.
That's what they want, though.
As long as
that's what's sad. It's you want what the Native Americans have, yo. I'm sorry, if you want what the Native Americans have, that's not what you want.
It's definitely not a good goal.
Yeah, it's not a good goal to get what the Native Americans have been dealt.
Even if it doesn't matter what kind of external resources and stuff they get, as long as they're losers in life, they're going to blame it on whatever the biggest, baddest externality they can find.
Right.
And that's always going to be, slavery 200 years ago. That's why my life sucks right now.
Yeah, that's why my life sucks.
America. Oh, Trump. Yeah, there's somebody I can point to and somebody I can yell at
Trump's the reason why I'm a failure.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Even though
these people are all
he's
losers.
made it easier for you to succeed in the last 3.5 years.
They're losers.
They
They're
are
all
losers.
Obese, they're all mentally ill. They're all jobless.
You want me to pay for your health care? You're
They
morbidly
tout,
obese?
They
No.
tout the fact that they're educated.
No,
but
you're not.
They've got some stupid like gender studies degree or like art history,
lesbian dance theory,
or
underwater basket weaving,
sociology, or some other absolutely worthless degree.
Right. Most of the biggest idiots I know are the ones that hold degrees in like just nonsense, like sociology. I'm like,
and they'll tout that they're educated over you.
Like, yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're educated, and that's great and all. But
the people who say they're educated are always
usually
dumbest
the biggest,
ones.
usually the biggest artards in the world.
Yes.
They're usually the biggest social idiots in the world. They complain about all this stuff, but they want to raise taxes. I'm like, are you serious? Raising taxes isn't going to fix anything.
Well, you know what's funny is somebody in chat also said it, that they seem to gloss right over the fact that Kamala Harris locked up black people and denied them all sorts of rights and, just charged them for minor drug offenses and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They just gloss right over that. So there's some kind. They are already in the club.
Oh yeah. I know
They definitely don't hold them to the same standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat said that I would agree that Israeli chicks are hot. Most of them. Some of them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say all. Not all. But most. They're okay. Israeli chicks are pretty hot. They're crazy, though.
Don't feed the wokies.
Don't feed the wokies. I mean, we can do a whole chat about who we think is hot.
Stalking Horse is mad. He says we can't stream on Wednesdays because Beauty and the Beta stream on Wednesdays.
Beauty and the Beta? I don't even know who that is.
We are entering the competition sphere.
Yeah, we're here to compete.
I'm gonna do what I can to take the viewers.
What day would suit you best, Stalking Horse?
That's why. That's why businesses succeed in capitalism, because they have to compete to become better.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm gonna stream on the same night, and I'm gonna steal his viewers eventually.
He's let's ask Delaney, do lesbians dance differently? We need to know. No, they don't. Most of them dance just like usual folk. Like the normal, regular, heterosexual. I just say lesbian dance theory is a joke, because I'm sure that's some of the degrees that some of these
dance theory or underwater basket weaving are the two joke degrees that you usually bring up when you're talking about college.
Yeah, when we're talking about college, like, because lesbians, honestly, most lesbians I know don't know how to dance. They're the worst dancers ever. I know how to dance because I was raised with taking dance lessons and stuff in my life. Mm-hmm. So I have rhythm, and I play music too. So I have actual like rhythm. Unlike some of these lesbians I know, they can't dance for crap.
I think your name deserves to be on a list.
What list?
You're never gonna know what list.
Oh, the Trump list?
I'm gonna make a list of lesbian dancers and I'm gonna put you on it.
Yeah.
This chick likes to dance.
This lesbian likes to dance, and she's actually like good at it and can like draw people in and be like, holy crap.
People have gotten on lists for worse or for less.
That's true.
Including probably having an American flag in their front yard.
I've heard of people getting put on, like, I heard from like leftists after this whole election's over. They want to put you guys on, all of Trump supporters on lists. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're just like the Hitler Youth. We want to know who the hell you are.
AOC was like, is anybody keeping track of all the Trump sycophants so we can make sure that not their lives get ruined?
Yeah, remember
paraphrasing.
Remember the Women's March when we went and there was that lady that was taking pictures of all the Trump, like the Trump train that was driving by. She's taking pictures of all their license plates.
Yeah. It's
like, what are you going to gain by doing that, lady? Oh, you're going to just know who the hell they are, where they live, all that.
Put me on it. Yes.
Like let's not put people on lists. Like that's some like Hitler stuff. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. That's some crazy, like, just weird stuff.
I thought that was fascist to make lists.
It's very fascist. But I thought that these people are supposed to be anti-fascist.
I thought people were mad at Andy No for providing lists to the right-wing groups like Proud Boys. That's one of the narratives that I heard. So apparently the lists were fascist, but now they're not fascist anymore because the left is making lists. So as soon as the left does it, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just, when the left does it, it's fine. It's okay if we have lists. Doesn't matter if it's like Gestapo-like or brown shirt-like. It doesn't matter. But when the left does it, it's okay.
Someone's gonna come to your house one day. They're gonna be doing like that community survey type
Put
thing.
a little star on your chest.
Yeah, like, it says here you voted for Trump in 2016. Is
It says you voted for Trump, so we're gonna put a T on your chest.
Yeah, here, wear this armband everywhere you go. If we see you without it, you're gonna get a fine. I mean, is it really that far off? If they're making
It's
lists,
not. That's what's sad.
you could call us absurd
People
for,
like
for
AOC
drawing
that
up
are
that
encouraging
imagery.
that garbage.
You could call us absurd for drawing up that imagery, but bro, you're making lists.
You're making lists of people who just support their country and support a candidate who supports their country. Is that really so bad? Like what is going on? What's going on, y'all? Like why are we growing lists of people?
Life Roll Toll says moral relativism is their mindset.
Moral relativism.
Means morality always changes depending on the situation.
It's true.
And the
I mean,
conditions and
especially in
the
America.
circumstances.
Especially in California, it's always changing.
That's why they don't have any standards.
Yeah.
Because everything's relative for them.
Yeah.
Including the morality.
Santa Claus made a list. That's true. Santa Claus does make a list. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. It's true. He does make a list.
All right, Santa Claus made lists. I'm fine with it then. That's okay.
I'm fine with Santa Claus making lists, but not government.
Is
Sorry.
AOC going to give us presents? I'm okay with that.
Santa Claus can make lists. That's fine because he doesn't exist. But AOC making lists, that's a real person who's supposed to represent her district, and I'm not okay with her making lists of people.
You know what I think we should do to retaliate?
Make lists of them.
Exactly.
We should make lists of them. But the thing is,
them.
they wear masks and they don't they're not open to like having discussions and like
Let's
giving
see,
their names.
Scrawny white guy. all
Scrawny,
black,
like seemingly white dude
number 343.
that wears
Scrawny white guy.
that
black.
wears a mask over their face and refuses to answer any questions and refuses to have any conversation, but is out in public. And you would expect to like want to generate some kind of conversation, being out in public and having some kind of political discord. That you would think that would be their goal, but they don't care. It's honestly like the leftists.
About revenge, remember?
The leftists, when they have their rallies and they have their crap, it's almost like a parade. Like they have like their set people that are supposed to be there and they do their appearance and that's it. And you're supposed to listen and you're supposed to like appreciate and be like clapping. But when it comes to like, we don't shut their stuff down, even if it's trash, it's total garbage. But when we have our stuff and it's supposed to be like our parade and it's supposed to be our time, they just want to shut it down and they're like, no, bitch, no, you're not allowed. Sorry.
Like the 6'6" basketball player slapping down the little kid. Who's
Yeah,
trying to
they're like, no, you guys can't have free speech rallies. No. Free speech rallies, no. But when we want to have free speech rallies, but our free speech is about communism and Marxism and socialism and how white people are the worst people in the world, that's fine. That's okay. But when you want to have your free speech rallies where we talk about just everything and just being American and being proud to be American and like what being American means, no, that's fascism. Fuck you.
Another example of their double standards.
It is a total double standard. Like they're so weak. They're so weak-minded.
AOC presence equals copy of the Communist Manifesto, a hammer and a sickle.
Kinda, yeah.
Yes.
I don't like her. She's weird. She's got them crazy MK Ultra eyes.
Ironically, nobody would know what to do with it because none of the communists have ever held a hammer or a sickle.
Right? They never have. Like that's why I don't understand the whole hammer and sickle with them because they
don't do any manual labor.
Most of them, besides the bourgeoisie.
Then they leave their garbage all over the streets. They don't clean up their mess after your events. Yeah, that's a good point in life.
Why would they clean up their mess?
They trashed it all.
Because they depend on people like me to go out into the neighborhood and clean up trash. Because that's what I would do. That's what I do in my neighborhood. Like if I see trash piling up in my neighborhood, I'll go out with a plastic bag and pick up a few pieces. Because I'm like, I don't like sitting there looking at it, so I just go and do it.
We got crazy MK Ultra eyes. I never heard that before. That's true.
You never heard of that?
Well, I know what the MK Ultra eyes are, but I never.
She
heard
does.
She looks like she always reminds me of a donkey when I look at her.
Yeah, kind of.
She looks like a donkey.
But she's got them crazy MK Ultra eyes, or.
She definitely. Well, yeah, the 1,000.
Yeah, she's just got them like big
1,000
eyes.
blank stare.
Yeah.
I'll let you insert whatever word you want in the blank.
In the blank.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Psychotic, whatever.
Okay, the other topic that before I forget that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Was the mainstream media propaganda right now.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
they are. Somebody brought this up earlier in the chat. I wanted to make sure we talk about it a little bit. Speaking of MK Ultra, the programming that's happening on a mass level, I think, is unprecedented right now.
Oh, it's terrible.
Because you've got all of these leftists who are hook, line, and sinker buying the whole Biden is the president-elect narrative. But it's not even close to being decided yet.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
I'm not saying Trump has good chances. Trump probably has small chances at this point. But yeah, Dirk specifically used the term psyop. I think that's probably appropriate to use in this context.
It is.
Because the media does not call the election.
They don't.
But everybody is under the impression that the election's been called.
They're like, yeah.
Like, officially. So what is that? I mean, how else do you refer to like a mass lie that's been propagated?
It's a total psyop.
So the question is why? What's the purpose behind making everybody believe that Biden is going to be the winner with the potentiality of him still not being the winner? Want to hear my theory?
Yeah, let's hear it.
My theory is they want the rioting and the destruction to be as bad as possible.
I can jump on board with that.
That is going to be the outcome. If imagine, okay, so the only it's a simulation theory, right?
Okay.
We're all in a situation where the simulation is writing itself, and it's always going to be the most interesting version. Stalking horse knows what I'm talking about. The
way to go, stalking horse.
The most interesting possible outcome. We've already had a Trump victory that was clean cut on the first night. It was announced he was the winner.
We knew he won.
We've already had that. To get it again would be boring.
It would be.
We need to spice it up.
We do.
So what is the most spicy version of a Trump win that you can possibly imagine?
He has to fight for it. He has to really fight for it.
Biden is elected.
Yeah, elected.
But Trump still wins.
Yeah, Trump still wins. That would be like this for the Republicans and people like me. It'd be the sweetest victory. It's like we proved that you guys cheated and we still won.
That is the spiciest simulation win twist of all time, greatest, and that is going to cause the crazy. You thought people had PTSD already.
Oh.
From Trump being elected. That chick, remember that chick on the ground at the inauguration? You thought she had PTSD. Oh. Wait to see what's going to happen if...
I can't wait till January 20th when we get those meltdowns.
If Trump gets in again, it's going to be it.
We might just have to do like a weekly narrative in Washington, D.C. on inauguration.
No, we would have to do a weekly narrative from a helicopter looking down on basically like a zombie apocalypse happening. Like, oh, they're getting...
Trump won! Orange man, meltdown.
It's going to be exactly like World War Z. Everything is going to be... There's going to be hordes of people just running around, burning and smashing everything.
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of what I predicted
really
initially,
bad.
But... When they didn't call it election night, I was kind of like, okay, good. Like, we're going to have a little bit of peace for a little bit. And then the media announced that it's Biden. I was just like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would they do that? If they really wanted to fight Trump tooth and nail.
They want to pat themselves on the back like, good job. Look, we actually won.
If they actually wanted Trump out, wouldn't they take that seriously? Wouldn't they take any allegations of voter fraud seriously, like, and try to fight back? I know some of them, like, I think the ACLU's, doing counter lawsuits and things like that. But as far as the mainstream media narrative goes and social media is concerned,
yeah, they
leftists on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube,
they think they won.
Yeah, Biden won, and
they're just like,
look at these stupid Republicans talking about
stupid Trumpers.
I think they might start to regret not taking it seriously.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think that
this might hopefully wake them up a little bit, because people on the Trump side and on the conservative side or just the Republican side have all been saying, like, hey, yes, Biden technically won this kind of, like, he won this way. But we won't have the actual results until December. So especially since there's a lot of states called into question about, like, yeah, right here, We have
Here
Pennsylvania.
is the Epoch Times. If you guys haven't seen the Epoch Times map, I'd say look at this. It's more of an accurate
All of these states
representation
in
of what's going on.
question, these are like really important states. So all of these is it from all of these leftists who believe that Joe Biden won, but haven't looked to see that there's all of these states called into question about voter fraud, about just a lot of different things. They're just willfully. They're willfully ignorant.
This is the real. So this is what they don't understand. So the problem with the election stuff is that to understand how it actually works, you have to have a pretty high level of intelligence and understanding of what's going on. So they think when the media calls it, like AP calls it, they think it's official. What
Yeah,
really
it's
has
official.
to happen is the votes need to be certified,
Yeah.
and then the electorates vote on, I think, December 12th.
Yeah, it's in the middle of December when they vote.
None of that is even close to happened yet.
Yeah.
So what we're actually looking at right now, this is a more realistic version of the map from the Epoch Times, where Donald Trump is at 232, Joe Biden's at 227.
So neither one of them is number one.
Because the reason for that is because there's lawsuits in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and there's going to be recounts in Wisconsin and probably recounts in all the other states. I know they just did an Attorney General ordered a hand count recount in Georgia. So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done before we can have any idea of what this map is going to look
And
like.
each of these states is actually worth a lot of electoral college votes.
Coincidentally, it's all the major swing states.
It's all the major swing states, and they're all worth quite a bit. Like California is a lot, but these swing states, in comparison to like populations like California and Texas and stuff like that, they're actually quite. They're big in the electoral college vote. I was looking at that earlier when I was like perusing like the electoral college map, and I was like, damn, like these swing states, they're still kind of up in the air, and like they're still calling it that Joe Biden won.
Yeah, I don't want to get into like trying to predict, oh, Georgia's going to go to Biden and Pennsylvania's going to go to Trump. We're not going to get into any predictions like that. We're just looking at the big picture here.
Yeah, there's
big picture is that this isn't
these
even close to
crucial
done.
states, they're not done. Yeah.
Not even close to done.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some of the Trump team members like Pompeo, did you see what Pompeo said? I think it was today or yesterday, maybe today. Time is blurry. Pompeo was answering questions in a press conference, and somebody asked him something like basically, why isn't the Trump team, is the Trump team getting ready to transition with Biden? Team?
No.
And
It's not even December.
Pompeo said, we're going to have a smooth transition into a second Trump administration.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that. He totally trolled the mainstream news.
That's like crazy alpha prime levels of confidence.
Yeah.
That makes me think that, okay, this is the turning point where either from here on out, what happens is going to make him and this whole administration look like clowns, or it's going to make them look like badasses because they've got something in their pocket that we don't know about. And I think that's probably what's going on. Because we've had all of these, we've heard individual instances of voter fraud here, this and that. Some guy threw a ballot over here.
There's like, thousands, hundreds of thousands of ballots coming in just for Biden and none for Trump.
We've heard stories.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff
all
like
kinds
that,
of stories of voter
but
fraud.
the stuff that's really going to seal the deal, if there is any, we don't know about it yet.
Yeah.
Pompeo probably knows about it.
He probably knows more than we.
That's
he definitely knows more.
That's
than
what I
we
gather
do.
from that statement. Like to say something like that, you have to know something in the back of your mind because you don't want to make yourself look like an idiot. And if he doesn't have anything that matches that, I'm gonna call him an idiot for saying that. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Trump administration is in the last throes, like the desperate back against the wall type stuff.
I don't think they are.
Or if they really are still beasting it.
They are totally beasting. I think Trump had all of this stuff, like, he had it in the back of his mind and was like, in case this happens, let's get all of these things ready. And when he saw it was happening, guess what? He filed lawsuits. He was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Well,
we got all this stuff ready.
Last stream, we talked about how Bernie Sanders was talking on an interview beforehand, ahead of time, with like one of the late night hosts, saying that he knew this was going to happen. That there was going to be like late counts and recounts in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Trump must have knew as well, which is probably why now when you look back at like all the debates and things, when he was always asked about, will you accept the result of the election, he always said what? It depends.
It depends. Depends on if it's fair.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
He knew something.
Yeah, he knew.
I don't think he was so stupid that he would just outright say that he's not going to accept the election.
Yeah.
I think he knew that some stuff was probably going to go down, and that he was open and probably expecting it.
You believe it or not, a lot of these left-leaning organizations that all support Biden and the Democrat platform, they've been talking about this stuff for months. They have Zoom calls about all of the stuff that they've been planning and trying to do and implement. So Trump's not an idiot. He has all these contingency plans, like in case it doesn't go the way that he initially wants. So he's like, okay, I knew I wasn't going to win this state, but I'm going to get this state. But then when that didn't happen, he's like, okay, we're going to file a lawsuit in that state because this is an important state.
This also feeds back into the whole myth of Trump being the fascist dictator. If he really was a fascist dictator, like all the leftists say that he is, wouldn't you be dead serious about responding to the potential voter fraud investigations that he's trying to implement? Like, wouldn't you be like, whoa, all right, guys, let's not say we won this yet. Let's do a full counteroffensive on this. But they're not. So they're not treating him like a fascist dictator.
No, they're not.
Because they think they've won, but a fascist dictator would do what? Just take power anyway.
Yeah, they would take power anyways.
So that narrative falls apart. But also, did you hear what Trump said when he went on Rush Limbaugh's show? And he swore on air on a call he was with?
No.
He's like, swear warning for all the viewers. He said, it's basically something along the lines of, if they fuck with us, we will fight back in ways that they've never seen, they've never even heard of.
Right? They don't expect him to fight.
I mean, you got to remember, this guy is a dirty
old man.
A dirty New York businessman, billionaire. He's got to have some tricks up his sleeve. And the funny thing is that throughout the election, he's never really had to pull any major hat tricks out, like dirty tricks or nothing.
Yeah.
But we've been told that that's his character, though. We've been told that he's got all these dirty tricks up his sleeve, and he's conniving and evil, but he hasn't really done anything.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything.
So let's see it now. I think it's time to whip that out.
Whip it out, Trump. Whip it out.
If there's any time to whip it out,
Set it on the floor, man.
now would be it, right?
Let's see it, buddy. Whip it out.
Like, the meme, he's not even in his final form yet, and now he's going to go Super Saiyan.
He has to. Like, they don't even...
He's not the kind of guy that just, lays down and takes a loss.
No, of course not.
And not the kind of guy that, flounders the loss either. Like, oh, there's election fraud, but there's really not much.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that. He's got to know something.
Whip it out. Yep.
Whip it out.
As Iron Duke says, whip it out. I'm telling him. Dude, whip out your arsenal of lawyers and all of this stuff. Like, we knew that the Democrats were going to try to pull some crap like this, and that's why he was ready. He had all of these lawsuits prepared. He was ready to take it to the Supreme Court. And a lot of people would conspire to say that, that's why he packed the Supreme Court with a bunch of conservative-leaning people. No, that's not why he did it. He had a vacancy, just recently, so he's going to fill it. And if it's with a conservative-leaning judge, cool. But a lot of these judges, even though they're conservative-leaning, they are still going to be fair and, listen to both sides as much as they can. So if it does go to the Supreme Court, I'm like, yes, let it happen. Because the Supreme Courts are going to, the justices are going to be like, yeah, there's a lot of, quite a bit of evidence of voter fraud here, enough to warrant some kind of investigation.
Well, you know what's even funnier? On top of all this, all right, guys, if I haven't painted the picture well enough yet, the left has been convinced over the last 4 years that they're literally fighting literal Hitler.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me now, after you convinced everybody that he's Hitler, but also after you complained about Russian collusion for 4 years, you're going to flip 180 on both of those. It's like, oh, no, we weren't actually fighting Hitler. Nobody would actually risk a little bit of law trouble to flip some votes to overrule Hitler. I mean, we all make jokes about how we would go back in time to kill Hitler,
right,
and risk our lives, but nobody would ever risk a little bit of jail time by doing election fraud to
right?
fight Hitler.
Nobody would
in all these
ever wanna get
blue-run
caught.
cities,
Yeah.
these cities that have been blue forever, that have blue infrastructure, blue teams, blue employees.
Yep.
none of them believe they're fighting Hitler and would do something out of the ordinary to fight Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's not like they have motivation whatsoever fighting Hitler. That's not motivation enough.
Yeah. What more motivation could you possibly want?
Right?
You're literally fighting literal Hitler.
That's what the mainstream media has convinced people, is that they're fighting Hitler by hating Trump.
It's the most likely scenario for voter fraud.
I agree.
We're fighting Hitler.
We are fighting Hitler, so I'm okay with allowing.
It's Hitler. You should want to risk your life to walk up to him and shank him.
Yeah. I've seen videos of other.
Yes, stalking horse. I'm kind of stealing this from Scott Adams.
Kind of a little bit. I saw that Scott Adams earlier, and I agreed. I was like, they do have the motive.
I'm amplifying his story because it's a good narrative.
It's a good narrative. Like, they think a lot of these people on the left don't think that the people on their side would ever commit voter fraud or would ever do anything illegal. And it's like, but they have been. They've been burning, looting, and murdering people for months now.
That was the counter argument that I saw one of the leftist streamers, to be unnamed, made when the comparison was between the Russian collusion and the voter fraud. It's like, oh, well, you don't understand the difference between Russian collusion and voter fraud. You're saying that Americans would steal the election from their own country?
Yes.
Well, Americans that have been brainwashed to think they've been fighting literal Hitler.
These weak-minded loser
Yeah.
Americans, people who don't even understand what it really means to be an American, have never really traveled anywhere else.
If you're so jacked in the head that you would yell at the sky and punch Donald Trump blow-up dolls,
and drag them behind your bikes and just be total weirdos about it.
You don't think those people are a little,
they're a little unhinged,
out in left field mentally? Maybe they're convinced they're actually fighting Hitler.
Yeah, you don't think that these people who have believed the CNN lie about Trump being worse than Hitler. There's this one girl that is a part of the resistance movement down in LA. She says Trump is worse than Hitler.
I've seen her in person. She was in my first.
You've seen her in person?
It's the same people. She was in my first video, the Berkeley one.
And they keep perpetuating this eternal lie that Trump is worse than Hitler. And it's not true. I'm sorry. It's just not. He's not. He's done remarkable things, but what Hitler did was remarkable, not just historically speaking. What he did was disgusting, but also quite remarkable in the short amount of time that he had. It's not like it was generations after generations. In a few short years, he did what he did. That's pretty remarkable if thinking about it. But I'm not saying what it was good or anything. It was totally awful. But to say Trump is close to that, I'm like, no, you're just so that is just low IQ, low energy, just low everything speak. I'm sorry, you guys are just willfully ignorant. Willfully ignorant. Get over it.
Yep.
Let's just let Trump have 4 more years, you guys. Come on.
Wallaby in chat has the right question. He says, would you kill baby Hitler? That's the point. Yeah, I think that's the question that we always ask each other. Ironically, you say, "Well, of course I would."
I mean,
well, would you maybe erase 100 ballots for Hitler?
No.
To fight Hitler?
Honestly, looking at history now,
yes,
the way I see it is
triple literal Hitler.
Yes, Hitler was a terrible example of what a dictator can be in history, but we need examples like that in history to teach us lessons so that way we can do better and not be like that. So if we don't have those things, we don't have those examples and what to look for, then how are we supposed to do better? And I understand that these people think that Trump is like Hitler, but to compare the person that killed millions of Jews in comparison to Trump, who's done nothing but try to uplift the American people, that's just not a fair comparison.
Yeah, they don't use it to contrast. They use it to only find similarities.
They've only used it to find similaries.
Would you adopt Hitler?
No, I would not adopt Hitler, but I'm just saying, we need people we need absolute terrible people in history like Hitler.
We've got a new one now. Trump is worse than Hitler. So. Yeah,
Trump is worse than Hitler. If you're going to put Trump on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, and Hitler, on the same scale, 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, where would you place them? I'm not going to place Trump as a 10, like being the best thing for history, but I'll place Trump pretty high, but I'll place Hitler as a 1. But these leftist losers are going to place Hitler like above Trump. They think Trump is worse than Hitler. No, I'm sorry. That's just low IQ.
But they wouldn't rig any votes for him.
They would not rig any votes. Absolutely not. They're pure,
not.
as they would say about Joe Biden. He's honest and decent. And the same thing with the people that count his votes and the same people that rig the election for him. They're honest and decent.
Totally, yeah. MA says she's watched my Berkeley video multiple times. That's what I like to hear.
Yes, we love to hear that.
Thank you, MA.
MA's a real one. I love MA.
That was my best video, though. So
you have a lot of really great videos, Jeremy. I must say.
You could raise Hitler, right?
You could, but you know he had his chance and he blew it. So
that's why we got the best chat.
We do have the best chat. I love all this engagement that we're getting from our
But Trump
viewers.
personally killed 200,000 Americans with COVID. See, that's exactly what you were talking about. That's part of the narrative where they're trying to paint him as the worst person.
It's all his fault. 200,000 American people died.
He went to 200,000 American hospital beds and he just stabbed him.
Just stabbed him right in the
gut.
heart, right there, center mass.
Personally, he killed them.
He did it. He just stabbed them repeatedly.
He flipped the switch on the ventilators and just killed them all.
Yeah, he decided he's the single person responsible for all of this BLM rioting and all of the deaths of COVID. It's all him. It's all his fault. It's not that these people were like morbidly obese or had heart disease or had cancer or any of that stuff beforehand. It's all Trump. Let's just follow
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going with that narrative. Orange Man bad. But if you paint your face orange, that's not racist. That's not black. It's not the equivalent to blackface. It's not. I saw a video of a guy who had his face painted orange, and I think it was Elad. I think it was Barely Informed with Elad. He's like, "So you painted your face orange? Isn't that a little similar to blackface?" And the dude was like, "No, I don't do blackface. That's not right."
Of course not.
No. And he's
Orange
like,
people
he's like, "This is satire."
Orange people weren't slaves.
Yeah, but what about the Oompa Loompas? Aren't those slaves?
Except in Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I was gonna say Oompa Loompas were enslaved and forced to paint their faces orange.
Who was worse, Genghis Khan or Hitler? Oh man.
Oh man, I mean, it's a tough one.
That is one reserved for our private conversations on Patreon.
Right?
Wait, we don't have Patreon.
We don't have Patreon.
That's where we would talk about that because we can't talk about that on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. We can't talk
Can't
about
think
that.
out loud about Hitler on YouTube.
Yeah, we can't think too much, and we might have to like bleep out the Hitler.
Hitler did give his soldiers meth, so he beat Oregon on that.
Yes, he did. We talked about this before last week before we streamed about methamphetamine and how Hitler gave his soldiers meth, and I was like, well, he gave his soldiers amphetamine. What they have in Oregon right now, which is methamphetamine, is totally different from the amphetamine that they got back in the day.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Chemically speaking, yes.
Well, there's so many different. I mean, ADHD medication is amphetamines.
It is amphetamines. I've tried it, and it totally is amphetamines. I've tried the Adderall. That stuff is makes you zing. I'll go till like 7 o'clock in the morning on that stuff.
Orange lives matter.
Orange lives do matter.
Isn't it ironic they call Trump racist often, yet also make fun of his skin color?
Right? That's not racist because he's white. He's white.
Yeah, I can't really.
He's orange.
Can't reconcile that one in my head.
Yeah. He's orange, so it's okay to make fun of him. Just like black people are allowed to talk shit about white people and say racist stuff about white people because black people can't be racist.
Yep.
Only white people can be racist.
Power
don't
plus
you know?
privilege, or what is it? Power plus prejudice.
Yeah,
Prejudice plus power.
Prejudice plus power equals racism, but just prejudice in general isn't racism. So, like, because black people don't have power. That's why they argue that. They're like, black people don't have power. And I'm like, did we not just have a black president?
Well, that's part of their ongoing language war. Change the words definition.
Do we
of
not
words
just
like
have
racism.
a black president? Do we not have black senators, black police officers, black mayors?
No, can't talk about that.
Black business owners. Even at the this.
They're fat phobic too. Is right because they make fun of him being fat.
Yeah, they're totally fat phobic.
He's healthy at any size. Okay. Don't make fun of him for eating McDonald's all day.
Yeah, he eats McDonald's and drinks Diet Coke, but we're not going to make fun of him for that. We're just going to make fun of him for his orange skin, his bad hair, and the fact that he's like a giant and he has a hot wife. Like, let's hate him for all that. Hate him for everything else. But his skin color.
Well, they just hate him because he's successful.
Yeah, and he's worth $2 billion.
That's the only criteria that they need to hate you over.
Yeah, if you're successful.
They're losers. He's successful. They hate anyone who's successful. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Even if like you're moderately just like a little bit more successful or a little bit more happy. Like I'm kind of in the same boat as a lot of these Antifa, BLM losers, but the thing is I'm happy. Like whether I'm rich or poor, I'm happy. And I think that that's for them.
You're also not mentally ill either.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, like they just don't like me because I'm happy whether I'm rich or whether I'm poor, but because I just believe what I believe and I'm happy no matter what. They're like, oh, F you. Yeah. Screw you.
They want you to be as miserable as they are.
Yeah, they want me to be as equally as miserable as them because they want true equality. And I'm sorry, if I have to be equal to some of these Antifa losers that are total mutants that have their head shaved down the middle of their head, I'm sorry, I don't want to be equal to you. Like, I want you to be equal to me. You should be measuring up to, like, me, the lowest standard of, like, what the peak of humanity should be. But you're not even measuring up to that. So what does that say about you?
Yeah, they want to drag everyone down.
They want to drag everybody who's at the bottom of, like what's the standard of, like, beauty and everything to be lower.
That's exactly what the whole BLM letter was from Patrisse Cullors. It was saying, we want you to... The things that they're going to implement, the destruction of the family, is going to make sure that everyone doesn't have advantages over anybody else. That's what they want. They want a world where nobody has advantages or ups over anybody else. Yeah. Everyone equally sucks.
Everybody's equally as miserable and hates life as much as them.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't hate my life. I don't hate my skin color as much as you guys do. Like, I just don't. My bad. Like, I wasn't raised to be brainwashed with that kind of mindset. Like, just not how my parents want me to be.
Chat thinks that Trump's on ADHD meds.
Probably.
I'd probably agree.
I would agree.
He's probably on all kinds of stuff, to
he's
be honest.
Probably on all... Let him be.
Dude's a beast. He's got more energy than me.
Yeah, let him be. Let him be. I don't care. Like, as long as he gets the job done.
I would compare the stack of pills that he takes with what Biden takes.
Right? What does Biden take? What does Biden take?
Biden will put people to sleep after Trump. That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the media's going to die out. That's one thing that nobody really is... I don't think it's sunk in yet. They're busy celebrating the victory of Biden.
It's not a victory.
But they haven't really thought about the implications of that.
Right?
One of the main ones being, and we talked about it already a little bit last stream, the death of media.
They're not going to have anything to talk about.
I think I'll make a prediction here. If Biden wins, if Trump gets out, all this leftist-driven media, like the websites Vox, Huffington Post, leftist streamers, all the leftist streamers on Twitch and YouTube, all their audiences are going to dry up. Not completely, but it's going to dry up to a good degree because there's no longer an incentive to drive people. That anger is not being constantly generated downstream by mainstream media and by social media to drive people to these sources. So they're going to dry up.
Yeah.
And again, not entirely, just to some degree. But they haven't thought about that yet.
Yeah, they haven't.
Their market is based off of Trump derangement syndrome.
And when you get rid of Trump, there's no derangement if you don't have Trump in office.
Exactly.
If there's no orange man bad, then how are you going to make money off of orange man bad?
All these industries have literally changed their business model to make money off of Trump derangement syndrome. So what happens when you remove Trump derangement syndrome?
There's no money to be had.
They could start talking trash about Biden, but there's just not as much to talk about.
Yeah, because he's not going to do anything.
Yeah, you could try and catastrophize with what he does, but he's a scripted, sleepy guy. He's not going to say anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So,
except, what did he say? True international under pressure.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get some true international under pressure.
Can't wait for that. True international under pressure.
Or my banana can't care.
Banana can't care.
Banana can't care.
Oh my goodness, that was so great. This is going to be such a interesting time after
Yeah.
Everything is over. Inauguration day happens.
Win loss, regardless, is going to be interesting.
It's going to be so interesting. I can't wait. Like, I thought Trump was going to win, like, outright, and they were going to call it night of, like they did in 2016. But the fact that they didn't, I was like, oh, okay. This just got more juicy. Like, I thought it was going to be boring as hell. That Trump's going to win night of, and there's not going to be any drama, none of this bullshit that we've had to deal with. But it's actually made things interesting, kind of spiced things up a little bit, different than what we're used to.
I'm telling you, that's simulation.
That's simulation, though.
Just gonna make it
We
interesting.
all got it wrong, man. We
Duke,
all got
I
it
haven't
wrong.
seen those memes, Duke. I can't comment on those. MA says, I think the media will keep trying to milk Trump for 4 years. They could do that. They could resort to like going back to Trump. Everything bad that happens, this is Trump's fault.
Or just if Trump expresses an opinion about anything. Trump said this. Look at what he says.
What if he starts his own media company, and then he starts doing just constant news coverage and like makes his own Fox News?
He should. If he was smart, he would do that.
Oh,
He doesn't want to, though.
John brings up a good point in chat too. He says Fox audience is going to dry up too. I think that's probably true.
A little bit, yeah.
I think media itself, all around, is going to dry up because all of media, regardless of whether it's Trump derangement syndrome or some other negative influence, they're all losing. There's the negative energy overall.
Yeah.
is gonna be less. So
I don't understand why they want to get rid of that, man. Like, this is what's been feeding them for
that's what I've been
years.
saying. I said this, in streams 2 months ago. I said the media should be incentivized to want Trump back in. Because that's the moneymaker.
That's the moneymaker.
You want to make that money.
You want to, you
Maybe
want those ratings. You want people to watch your shit, even though your
So,
shit is shit.
If you guys want an argument against the communists who always cry about profit and how profit is the king overall, just present the example of Donald Trump being demolished by the media. They're literally there.
They're making money off of demolishing him.
If they're incentivized to make profit over everything else, and then it would follow with reason that they would want to get him reelected because he's their cash cow.
Yeah.
So why didn't they want to get him reelected? Why are they against him? There's some other motive there other than profit, or they're just too stupid to realize it. Maybe bad decision making.
I kind of believe that they're too stupid. Honestly, I've tried to talk to some of these left leaning people about it, and I bring up that point about how if they would just stop talking about Trump, they would lose money because people tune in to like listen to them talk crap about Trump. But if they stop talking about him, then guess what? He loses money. If they really want him to not be elected, then they need to stop talking about him. But they just kept talking about him and talking about him and talking about him.
And John says late night talk shows will have nothing to talk about either.
Yeah, they don't
Did
have.
you see Colbert crying?
Oh my God! Of course, he probably did cry. Beta.
He was like, we all knew this was gonna happen,
Just like Rachel Maddow cries on 2016.
but I didn't know it
She's
was
like,
gonna hurt
really?
this much.
I didn't know it was hurt this
That's
much.
what he said.
He said that?
Yeah, that's what late night comedy is.
That's
ladies and
why I
gentlemen.
stopped watching the late night comedy a
That's
long
another
time
good
ago.
point. These late night comics aren't gonna have anything to talk about. All these media companies aren't
Ellen's not
gonna
going to have anything to
they're
talk
not gonna have
about.
anything to talk about.
Even though Ellen's a total, like, I'm not even going to get into Ellen. Like,
You don't think she's hot?
no. She's not hot.
I had to ask just because you're.
No,
both
she's
lesbians.
not hot, but she's also like a total. She's in with a cabal. Let me just say that.
They're all gonna dry up, and I don't know what they're gonna do. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
But
it's just they're not gonna like we've been saying, they're not gonna have anything like no negativity to feed the world. They're gonna just lead with positivity and lead with love, and they're just gonna have nothing but good things to say for the next 4 more years.
if they, I think they can pull some out of their asses. They can just make some stuff up. Like I said, original sin. They can always refer back to that.
Right?
They can always dunk on Biden and Kamala somehow.
They're gonna find a way.
They're very creative in finding ways to bring you down
Oh yeah,
with isms and
isms and ists
Yeah.
and phobias.
they're not
and,
immune.
Yeah, they just find ways to just hate. They just have too much hate in their hearts.
Secret Service will shoot Biden when he goes full on Walking Dead.
Brains. Oh, little girl, brains. Let me go sniff her real quick. Brains.
Oh,
No,
man.
that's what his MO is.
That
Oh my God, I feel bad. People tell me, they're like, you know, Trump was like he like totally like molested his daughter. Look at the way that he like, and look at these pictures of him.
No, they're saving all that for
They're
when
like,
Biden.
look at these pictures of him with his daughter, and I'm like,
When Biden disobeys, they're gonna pull all that out.
Yeah, and I'm like,
oh, Biden,
and then I pull out pictures of Biden sniffing and kissing on children that aren't even
grabbing
his.
kids, grabbing
They're
little
not even
girls and stuff.
his.
Oh, they're gonna whip that
They're
all out.
not even his kids, and Biden's like sniffing them and like kissing them. They're not even his kids. They're not his grandkids. They're not like they're not his nieces or nephews.
They're saving it. They've got it all stashed away in a
But
little
with
file
Trump,
cabinet.
oh my God, there's a picture of his 13-year-old daughter sitting on his lap, and that's inappropriate.
I'm telling you, they've got it in a file cabinet.
They're ready. They're ready to. They're ready to
right
pull
now.
the what's it called?
It's locked right now, but they're ready to open it.
They're ready to put the leverage over Biden for everything that he does. They're ready to pull that out. They're ready to be like, hey, Biden, if you don't sign the Green New Deal or the
that's
new
what I'm
Green
saying.
Deal, we're going to release these videos
Well,
and pictures of.
Somehow, Biden has managed to get himself into a lot of compromising positions where there's leverage against him. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, he's got a lot of shit on him, man.
Wonder what.
All those child sniffing pictures, and
I wonder what other countries might have.
you know that he owns the island right next to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Okay, well, we can't say that. We're gonna get banned off of
Well,
YouTube.
at least his family does. I don't know about him personally, but at least his family does. That's pretty verifiable. Like, you can look that stuff up.
Trump is a symbol of freedom, and that's why Islam and Antifa make love on Tuesday.
It's true. That's why they make. I love it.
Hunter Biden's deep-rooted degeneracy definitely indicates a childhood filled with sexual abuse. Yes,
Yes.
definitely does.
Definitely. Sexual abuse, at least exposure to immoral things. Exactly. This dude is like has pictures of his butthole on his laptop. Come on now.
That's why the media. Maybe. I'm not saying that's why, but maybe that's why the media didn't want to cover the Hunter Biden stuff.
Well, yeah.
Because they wanted to keep it in that file cabinet.
Oh yeah.
So that if Biden if he doesn't want to obey, they
Look
can be
at
like,
what
hey,
we got
hey,
on your
hey,
son.
remember this?
We got pictures of him with a crack pipe in his mouth
There was
and of
more
his.
than one laptop. We've got him right here in the file cabinet. Don't make us open it.
Don't make us open that
So
file cabinet.
Give us that deal.
It's just like on Bruce Almighty and how God pulls out the file cabinet for everybody. It's like, don't make us pull out that infinite file cabinet and all the bad shit you've done.
Biden's got one just as big.
He's got one that just like goes across an entire building.
Yep, I think so.
I think so too. I mean, you don't get millions of dollars from the mayor of Moscow for just being a saint.
Blackmail keeps the swamp gross.
It's true.
Yes,
Keeps
it's
the
true.
swamp nice and swampy.
That's
and
what makes the swamp so swampy. You
it's what
can't get
makes
out of it. You're like,
it's what
ah.
keeps it swampy. That's what makes it smell and all swassy, you know.
That's why he's been there for so long. He's got obligations now.
He's got
He
that
had to
them
get
47 years, man.
he had to get into that position because now he's got to pay a lot of people back.
Oh yeah.
That's why all these
He's like using his son as leverage, which is kind of sad and
yeah.
pathetic.
When you wonder why people say that there's all these forces working to get him elected, just remember that he owes a lot of people a lot of favors.
He's like, look, you guys, I got a picture of my son's butthole on a laptop. How much is that worth to you guys? How much is a butthole picture on my son's laptop? It's got to be worth something.
Well, if you give me butthole with a crack pipe, maybe we can talk. Just butthole, and it's not enough anymore. The American people are desensitized to that. It's gotta have butthole plus crack pipe.
You gotta have more than just butthole because we don't want just butthole. We want crack pipe, butthole, and and the money shot.
If you got that picture, you can get reparations overnight. Just boom, you'll get reparations. All right, thank you, Mr. Biden. Please sign right here. We'll go ahead and delete this picture.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll just make sure that nobody ever sees this, even though the FBI and the DOJ all confirm that it's true and it's real and it's a thing. But we're going to make sure the mass of the people that actually matter, the American people, they don't see it.
Yeah, bets on a Syrian war. How long before Biden starts a war? Oh, the military-industrial complex is thirsty. They haven't gotten their feed. The last time they got a nice little payday was when we launched those missiles in Syria, I think it was.
Yeah.
They got a nice little payday for those missiles, but they've been waiting for something to happen.
They've been waiting for...
Biden's their man.
They've been waiting for somebody like Biden because with Biden, they'll be able to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Even though like the left is supposed to be like anti-military.
We'll have some kind of, not false flag necessarily, but there's going to be some kind of implication for us to get involved somewhere magically sometime soon, early on in the Biden administration, if that were to happen. I think he's right.
There'll be just some kind of conflict in the Middle East right after Biden gets elected, so that way the United States has to get involved.
They're like, we found weapons of mass destruction in it's like an ad lib.
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
You just insert in whatever country you want.
You found object in Middle Eastern country.
Yeah.
What's gas? You go with gas.
Yeah, we'll go with
gas in Libya.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Mr. Biden, go ahead and read this for us right
go
there.
Go ahead, read that and sign it at the bottom.
And you know what he would say? We got Badanda can't carry in Libya.
Can't carry.
It says gas grenades or gas canisters.
Shh, gas canisters.
He's gonna.
We've got formaldehyde. We've got formaldehyde bombs.
It's common.
That's if Biden gets it, but I don't think he will.
Invest in your military-industrial complex companies if Biden gets elected. The Raytheons, definitely dump a lot into Raytheon. There's going to be a lot of missiles going out. Who makes the planes? Boeing. I don't think Boeing makes the warplanes.
I don't know.
Whoever makes the warplanes, buy them up.
Whatever
get that
company,
stock, because it's going up.
Yeah, it's not the wall though. The company that builds the wall. That's
wall's
not
going down.
The wall's
Military
going down.
industrial complex going up.
Yeah.
There you go.
We don't need no stinking wall, even though there's hundreds of miles of wall that has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
The wall's going up, as JLP would say.
Lockheed Martin, thank you, Stalking Horse. Invest in Raytheon and Lockheed Martin if Biden gets elected, because that's going to be a sure return for you.
Steve says Tulsi looks good in a bikini. Yeah.
And with that, I think we're going to call it here.
Maybe. I'm not going to say that she does not or does, but that's subjective.
I haven't seen it, so I can't make a determination on that. I'm with full judgment.
All right, you guys. Well, I guess this is it for the night.
I thought that was a pretty awesome episode.
That was pretty fun.
For a Wednesday night.
For Wednesday night, for us, 9 o'clock. I don't know about the rest of you degenerates out there.
It's good stuff, yeah. Late night streams seem to be doing pretty well. I'm glad everyone was able to join us.
We love you guys.
Rip Gary Coleman again. Thanks.
I know. If somebody
Steve,
can give me a picture of Tulsi in a bikini, I'll take it. I'm not gonna say no to that. I'll be the judge.
Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Yep. Thank you, Iron Duke. Thank you,
Pronoun
MA.
of your choice.
Thank you, everybody that shows up. All of my fans, for sure. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate you.
You guys are awesome, and you're the reason we're here. We hope to see you next time.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because how else are you supposed to know when we're live if you don't hit that notification bell?
It's true. Hit the subscription button, and then hit the real subscription button, which is the bell.
Yeah, so that way y'all can be a part of this, because we want you. We want you to be here with us on these late night streams at Weekly Narrative.
You heard it.
Heard it from me.
When we be back on Saturday, something like that, we'll do another stream sometime.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Shortly. So watch out for it. I'll drop a notice on YouTube. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by, guys. We'll see you again next time.
Good night, MA. Have a good night. Bye now.
On Weekly Narrative.
On Weekly Narrative. Bye now.